And it is that man again, Tom Slingsby, absolutely dominating this fleet. Francesco Bruni had a great start at the top end of the line. Two boats getting their bows down, we're racing, so nice start by the two boats, way up the very top end of the course. And we are off and racing, here we go. Kyle Langford taking another win. Well done, Kyle. Straight past. Finds himself in third spot. Oh, we've got a nosedive, a New Zealand competitor. Permission to buzz the tower, and there he is. Well done, son. And it is that man again, Tom Slingsby, absolutely dominating this fleet. Francesco Bruni had a great start at the top end of the line. Two boats getting their bows down, we're racing, so nice start by the two boats, way up the very top end of the course. And we are off and racing, here we go.
Welcome to the 2019 Moth Worlds, day 3. We'll do this again.
It's live. That's how you can tell it's live, mate.
That's
it's
it,
live.
mate. Exactly right. I'm here with Jody Shields, of course. And as you can see, guys, we're on the dock here at Mounts Bay. Been a slight delay, just waiting for the breeze to come in. That was pretty predictable, Jody.
Yeah, they did say it's going to be a little bit of a delay this morning, but the good news is they're telling the sailors to get ready to get out because the breeze is starting to fill, Mark. And normally on the last day, it's all about who's going to win the event and all that sort of stuff. We've still got a bit of a battle there for the podium. But
got a great battle for the podium.
Yeah,
there's what 4 or 5 points between second and third.
Yeah, the girls' battle is sort of there or thereabouts, but we think that might be locked out as well.
The Scows are on
the
for young and
battle of
old.
the Scows are still there. And I think AMAC's got the Masters already because he's probably the only one in the Masters division.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's got that. And just for today's coverage as well, we thought we'd bring in some extra staff, get an intern in, and we'll just welcome him on shot right now. Tom Slingsby. How you going, mate?
How come you're not sailing?
You guys offered free beer out on the commentary booth, so I thought I'd come join you.
It's a tough gig out here.
It's tough, and as you can see, she's pretty wild at times, but it's good. Mate, pretty nice feeling to be able to not go racing today and just enjoy it.
Yeah, it's pretty stressful moth sailing. Even yesterday when I was sailing and I had a nice lead, you're going back upwind through all the boats flying downwind at you at 30 knots, and it's extremely stressful. So I don't have to pick which foils, what sail, what mast I'm going to use today. I'm going to relax and watch the racing and enjoy.
The only pick you have to do, mate, is what stories you're going to tell about some of your buddies out there on the racetrack. So looking forward to that, Mark, and looking forward to hear a bit of an insight on how these guys prep, race-wise, and also a little bit of banter. So welcome to the team, Tom Slingsby.
Cheers, thank you, and can't wait.
And we're just going to shoot off and have a look at some of the highlights of this week and some of our sponsors and partners. We've got CST, Mac2, who have broadcast to us. So as the drone shoots off, we'll go to these highlights as we look over Mount Space Sailing Club.
Hello, welcome and good morning. And our little boat park walk has found what I consider to be the grandfather of the moth fleet, Mr. Andrew A. McDougall. How you going, buddy?
Just a young lad walking around the boat park. I'm very good.
Far from it, mate. You're not a young lad at all. We're all getting old and it's a good thing. Mate, this Mach 2 of yours, it's had more plastic surgery than a Kardashian's. These things change over and over again, which is unreal for these classes. They're such an innovative class.
Well, yeah, it's not. I mean, we don't do it every year, every second year maybe, but it's always something that we really believe is worth doing. It's not something that's just, it's some cosmetic thing. It's something that we've really proven that this is fast. And for me to feel comfortable doing this, it's got to be something I can say, yes, by this, you're going to go faster. And that's pretty much what's happened.
And the development, you were saying before, has been about a 2-year period to get to what we've got here, which is what that fly's going to annoy me. I'm going to kill her. A Mach 2 2.6, is that right?
We're up to a 2.6. It's not released yet. This one here is built in Australia. Well, we've taken an earlier boat, built it into what we consider now as a 2.6, which will go into production early next year.
Very, very cool. So it's a bit of an exclusive then.
Yep, absolutely.
Here on Down Under Sail. That's awesome, mate. Let's start at the first mods. What are the 2.4s? Just run us through what your first little changes of the boat were.
I mean, we really needed to clean up this whole area down here, which was a mess of ropes or windage, and it was very hard to uncleat or cleat stuff from such a distance. We needed to get the cano lower because we were doing the deck sweeper sail, which we'll get to later. And we wanted to clean up all these ropes coming up here, move the cleats closer to your body so that you can absolutely cleat them and uncleat them and know that you've done it and not have to think about it too much.
Which clean, like the old ropes used to be out here on cleats and then all through here, weren't they? And it was a bit messy.
It was very messy and it was a bit horrible. So we basically changed this whole area. So we've got this plate here which we can put a whole lot of pulleys and cleats and, well, not so much cleats. And then all the cleats are out here. So that was the main impetus to do this actually started from the sail where we wanted to get the deck sweeper. And
because everything was up here, it was in the road, basically.
Yes, correct. And we needed to get the cano low so that we got some movement side to side at the clew, at the tack, should I say, which just helps the dynamics of the rotation and what have you. So, there's a lot of reasons, but that was a 2.4. I don't know what else I can tell you about it.
So 2.4 we ticked off purely aesthetics and mother of necessity because of the sail. And we tick into the 2.5.
One other thing about the 2.4 is that we sort of followed everyone else and made the thing zip off.
Dreaded mats that you always break at the worst time and takes 4 hours to do the change.
Yeah, so you don't have to re-splice anything anymore. It just zips straight off, which is fantastic.
So roughly what, half an hour change?
Yeah, easy.
Instead of a half a day?
Yeah, absolutely. And my hat's off to the other guys who started all that, but we did follow eventually. Yeah,
nice. No, and that was a big thing, I had it with my moth, the bloody wing mat, and you 3 races gone the whole day. You spent pulling ropes apart and doing all the bullshit to get it back on, and slide it on, and your day's over, and then you're annoyed. So this system is brilliant.
No, it works really well.
So that's 2.3 tick. Then we
we forgot part of
that. Hello, welcome and good morning. And our little boat park walk has found what I consider to be the grandfather of the moth fleet, Mr. Andrew A. McDougall. How you going, buddy?
Just a young lad walking around the boat park. I'm very good.
Far from it, mate. You're not a young lad at all. We're all getting old and it's a good thing. Mate, this Mach 2 of yours, it's had more plastic surgery than a Kardashian's. These things change over and over again, which is unreal for these classes. They're such an innovative class.
Well, it's not. I mean, we don't do it every year, every second year maybe, but it's always something that we really believe is worth doing. It's not something that's just, it's some cosmetic thing. It's something that we've really proven that this is fast. And For me to feel comfortable doing this, it's got to be something I can say, yes, by this, you're going to go faster. And that's pretty much what's happened.
And the development, you were saying before, has been about a 2-year period to get to what we've got here, which is what that fly's going to annoy me. I'm going to kill a Mach 2 2.6, is that right?
We're up to a 2.6. It's not released yet. This one here is built in Australia. Well, we've taken an earlier boat, built it into what we consider now as a 2.6, which will go into production early next year.
Very, very cool. So this is a bit of an exclusive then.
Yep, absolutely.
Here on Down Under Sail. That's awesome, mate. Let's start at the first mods. What are the 2.4s? Just run us through what your first little changes of the boat were.
I mean, we really needed to clean up this whole area down here, which was a mess of ropes or windage, and it was very hard to uncleat or cleat stuff from such a distance. We needed to get the cano lower because we were doing the deck sweeper sail, which we'll get to later. And we wanted to clean up all these ropes coming up here, move the cleats closer to your body so that you can absolutely cleat them and uncleat them and know that you've done it and not have to think about it too much.
Which clean, like the old ropes used to be out here on cleats and then all through here, weren't they? And it was a bit messy.
It was very messy and it was a bit horrible. So we basically changed this whole area. So we've got this plate here which we can put a whole lot of pulleys and cleats and, well, not so much cleats, and then all the cleats are out here. So that was the main impetus to do this actually started from the sail where we wanted to get the deck sweeper. And
so because everything was up here, it was in the road, basically.
Yes, correct. And we needed to get the cano low so that we got some movement side to side at the clew, at the tack, should I say, which just helps the dynamics of the rotation and what have you. So, yeah, there's a lot of reasons, but that was a 2.4. I don't know what else I can tell you about it.
So 2.4 we ticked off purely aesthetics and mother of necessity because of the sail. Then we tick into the 2.5.
One other thing about the 2.4 is that we sort of followed everyone else and made the thing zip off.
Dreaded mats that you always break at the worst time and takes 4 hours to do the change.
Yeah, so you don't have to re-splice anything anymore. It just zips straight off, which is fantastic.
So roughly what, half an hour change?
Yeah, easy.
Instead of a half a day?
Yeah, absolutely. And my hat's off to the other guys who started all that, but we did follow eventually. Yeah,
nice. No, and that was a big thing, I had it with my moth, the blow a bloody wing mat, and you 3 races gone the whole day. You spent pulling ropes apart and doing all the bullshit to get it back on, and slide it on, and your day's over, and then you're annoyed. So this system is brilliant.
No, it works really well.
So that's 2.3 tick. Then we
we forgot.
Part of the
2.4, of course, was the bowsprit, which this is now a different version on the 2.6, but the bowsprit incorporated a linkage here, which is now at the back, but was I sailed the boat for a number of years with a bowsprit. I had 2 boats, one without, one with, and could never really tell the difference until we put that linkage in and got a different dynamic. And the linkage means that the wand is moving like this, and the link is moving faster, so we get a fast movement in the middle and slow at either end, and it just changed the dynamics, and suddenly we had something that I was really pleased with and was worth doing. So that was also part of the 2.4.
And it takes out slop, and it's more direct and more, what you're seeing at the end of the wand is getting sent to the flat.
That's the 2.6.
Nice. Right.
So the 2.4 was just introducing the bowsprit.
I tell you what, the guys that are running these now have got it easy. I mean, the old days were hanging off the side with no adjustable wands. It was just an absolute circus to sail. It was fun but geez, you got used to stacking it.
Yep.
It was. I think one of the boys said it's like you can go down. I think it was when he's done Melbourne or something. It's like Scott Babbage was going downhill. I think it was Joe Turner said it, going downhill having a cup of tea because it's just so easy.
Exactly.
But, so these guys have got it really done. So we ticked off 2.4.
2.4. Now we're done. We're good.
And then you had another brainchild to go into 2.5, and where are we with that?
So the 2.5, I mean, the guys were with the rocket and other guys were doing the solid wings, which were fairly aerodynamic, but I sort of felt the aero could be a lot better, and there was no way I was going to go to solid wings. So we want to make a boat that people can cart around the world.
100%.
It's not, it just, our boat is about trying to make the best we can with something that is accessible.
Throw it in a box and send it off.
Exactly.
Put a stamp on it and turn up at the event.
So I had all these thoughts about making battens in the wing tramps to get the shape I wanted, and so what we were trying to achieve, and probably more so than the other guys, was to create downforce with the wings rather than just drag. So downforce, so you're really squeezing the wings against the foil, and it becomes really a sail, which is what the sail is. You're squeezing.
An extension of, isn't it?
Yeah. And so we're trying to get the flow underneath the wing tramp and keep it reasonably attached and have the top flow exhausting really nicely out the back here and at an angle, so it's sort of coming down and flowing out here rather than being concentrated into the middle, which is pretty draggy. And so, yeah, just before the Brisbane Nationals, we made a set of prototypes for my boat, and I got on them and it was just like, holy shit. It was just huge. Instantaneous, and particularly when you want to push the boat up high, it's just, you can just go so much higher than you used to be able to. And I remember just going, oh, feels good. What are my angles going to be when I tack? And I tack and I'm just going, holy moly, this is great. So this has been such a transformation because suddenly our wing tramps are, well, the size of the wing frame is actually not a big downside. And where I sail,
using it as a positive instead of...
Yeah, so we're using it as drive rather, and it's gone from being drag like a cup spinnaker to being this quite smooth driving surface. I like the wide wing things for where I sail. It's big waves. I'm often up the back here.
Yeah.
And so being able to make it so that we can keep this, not have to change the platform, and just plug these wing bars in and suddenly have it being as efficient as any of these solid wing boats or any of the small wing boats. It's just fantastic, really.
And I like the fact that, even though all these changes are for speed and, for all that sort of stuff, you're still keeping your pillows. You're still keeping the beginners in mind, the people that, they're comfortable to sit on between races. But like you said before, they can help you with the cap size, so a little bit of compromise there. But
I don't think it's compromise at all. I think even as a racer, having the buoyancy, it helps you relax between races. It might save that one cap size that you wouldn't have done.
Yep.
But I mean, for me, everything I do is about making this a boat for everyone. And if we can, and everything I've ever done in the windsurfing is always about, can we make this so that the top guys can win on it? But more importantly, is it going to put a smile on the face of the
new bloke?
The new bloke.
Yeah, you don't want to get a brand new boat and take 2 years to learn it because you'll throw it in the bin.
Exactly. So that's the rationale there.
Cool. So there's 2.5.
2.5.
Now we're getting into the sexy pieces, the 2.6.
Yeah, 2.6. So originally the bowsprit had quite a complex system here, and it was a pull rod going to a push rod that went through the hull. It sort of was pretty easily retrofitted to an existing Mach 2, but yeah, there's a fair bit of friction and there's more linkages than we should have had. So now we've got the rod pulls all the way through to the reversing lever here. So there's no sliding thing. This is just sitting in a open tube.
Like a cassette type thing.
Yeah, it's not running in. It's not under tension, so it doesn't have to be constrained, and it's going directly onto the right height adjuster. So all it is 3 turning points. I mean, we could get it down to 1, but as I explained before, with the lever, we really get some gains out of having that lever. It's just very low friction. It's very simple. 2 extra pins, but we don't have anything sliding. We don't have anything grinding.
So to change this rod, if that rod breaks, it's a fairly easy process. You're
exactly.
Not 4 or 5 links within the boat and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to do.
It's like 4, I don't know the dynamics of it, but 4 screws, pull that out, get that pin out, put the new one in, 4 screws
much.
Down, done.
You're done. Exactly.
Dumbass like me can do it, mate.
Yeah,
Sounds
I mean,
good.
we're not really breaking them anyway because it's just...
They're strong enough now.
They're strong enough. So also if you go up the front here, because we don't have any of this crap here, the
cone's gone.
The whole lid's gone, so it looks a whole lot neater. and you can still put an adjustable forestay in if you want. We've got a
That's
a
what the
tube.
that's what the hole's for. Yeah, right. I was going to ask that.
Yeah. One of the things that I do is actually connect that to the.
Or fill it
boom.
full of really small beer cans between races or something. Maybe that'd be all right, eh? Maybe that's 2.6.
When you're finished, I'll keep going. So, yeah, but you can just tie a pulley on there. It's all still very simple, and we've probably taken a few leaves out of other people's books there, but
That's what it's all about, mate.
Yeah.
You know. I think
so-
the classes, there's boats in this paddock that have taken leaves out of this. So if someone comes up with, and that's the class. It's an innovative class, and if someone comes up with something good and you're not copying it, and it's fast, well, you're a bit of a dill, really, aren't you? So
Exactly.
so that's what it's
Exactly.
all about. So and then so that's ticking off the 2.6 version. So this is going to be released when?
Well, we
As
go
a
to-
boat available.
I've got to go to China. We've got to change some moulds to change this, but the rest of it's pretty simple. Can't exactly say when we'll be in production, but we're not planning to make any 2.5s or the original hull.
Yeah, cool.
So we'll do it as quickly as we can, so we can start selling them.
And obviously, you're never going to change the hull shape because that's just the Mach 2, the
Well,
DNA of the Mach 2. It's-
There's a lot of things that suddenly. I mean, I was seriously considering it, but the whole dynamics with the wing, working with the hull and the deep hull and the deck sweeper sail actually all works together a whole lot better than I thought it would. And so all the CFD we've done shows that we can get really nice drive forward out of the whole hull wing package, where with a different shape hull, probably not only not gains but possibly
and
negative.
it's a whole new tooling, and it doesn't
Yeah.
look like a Mach 2 then,
Yeah.
does it?
Yeah, well, I'd love to do a new hull, but I also love the fact that we can keep the ones built in 1973. Oh no, sorry, in 2000 and when did we start making them? 2008. All those boats are still fully upgradable to this.
To this, so if you've got your first or second Mach 2 out of the box and
Yep.
you want to turn into a 2.6, you just
You
get
can do it.
online, do
Yep.
your stuff and plug and play, really.
Exactly.
Apart from, obviously the cones and that won't be right, but
Well, you can.
you
That's
can
pretty easy. You just-
fiberglass them up. But
Exactly. You can just put the one you got on and glue it on and forget it.
and the driver for all this, mate, the sail. Let's have a look at this sail, eh? Gotta ask, I've never KA. Why KA?
Kick ass.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
You bullshit. What is it?
Possibly. Well, when we first started KA windsurfing, our biggest customer was Japan, and we struggled to register a name, and we came up with KA Sail, being KA was the letters used on the sail in Australia back then,
Right.
rather than AUS.
AUS.
Kingdom Australia, that's what it was.
Well, there you go.
So we just had, there was one name we could register in Japan, so we chose
Done
KA
it.
Sail. That was
Simple
it.
as that.
But kick ass is pretty good too.
Kick ass sounds a lot better story, I reckon. So we'll run with kick ass, I think. Okay, so this is the big deck sweepers that everyone's got
using now.
deck sweepers now.
So what happened is that Harry and I were working on just how to close this gap.
Harry Mile.
Harry Mile.
Oh,
yeah,
yep.
when he was working with us. And we went through all these scenarios and we did a fair bit of CFD, and we even tested a windsurfer style sail, which with a boom up there, and so we could just not have the vang, so we didn't have all this problem of closing off the gap. So my take on it was this, and so we built a sail without this area, and Harry sailed with it for about 6 months and was going okay. It was actually underside because it was missing this area and it was short, and we were racing each other and testing stuff, and at the end of the day Harry's probably a bit lighter than me, so it sort of worked out all right. We were just sailing together. And then, okay, let's get this skirt going. So Harry mucked around for weeks trying to get this to sit properly, and we got it on. And we went sailing. and it was like, we can't test together anymore. It was just like
So much better.
gone. It was incredible, and I told many people this back then, and nobody believed. All these guys that are using now, probably when they saw it, they just
So the
thought,
whole end plating effect, now we see it in the SailGPs and the America's Cup and all that sort of stuff, it's pretty much to close the gap between the sail and the hull and almost let the airflow not detach.
well,
this
there's a
engage,
whole
I
lot of
guess.
things going on, and I think so for the 2000 and what are we now 2017 Worlds in Garda, we had these
Oh, the big
things,
fairings, yeah.
which were really painful.
Clunky and the ugly, and yeah.
And if it was light, you couldn't get bang your knee into them, and you couldn't adjust anything. You couldn't see the adjustments. And we ended up cutting big holes in them so you could do everything, and it was just horrible. But what I found was it actually didn't make that much difference. There's definitely a gain, but this was like mind blowing.
And that was
That was
bugger all.
just like, there's a gain, but it wasn't worth it mucking around. So, it was like, like many of the things we do with the stuff that we release, it's like, go out sailing for 5 minutes and it's done. You've just done something really special. And this was one of those. I can go back to the bulb on the foil back in the Blade Rider days. It was just like, oh my God, we've done it. This is
You found utopia, yeah.
yeah. And so,
I mean, these are cleaned up a lot. I remember Garda, Pete Burley,
Yeah, they
you
were
put one on Pete's and it was like ugly and yucky, and, the attachment points, you
took
thought,
us a while.
geez, that was, is that a game? But now you see them and it's like super nice. They're really nice.
and we used to have a fairing in the front to make it all. Don't made it. So when Harry went, it was sort of like I was left with all these great things, but we had to finish it.
Yeah.
So it was my job to do all the engineering drawings and go to the factory and make sure it happened.
Yeah. Oh, it's your baby, mate. Someone's got to take it.
Yeah.
So now this is standard. This is
I
not an
think
option? Or you can?
No, not an option. We don't make any other sales.
So
I
any
stopped
kick-ass
making it.
sale that turns up is going to have one of these.
Yep. I stopped making the other sales as soon as that day. That was it. End of story.
Yeah,
they were
cool.
dead. They were dead.
And this will fit if you've still got a straight boom? No dramas, or you reckon
yeah,
you
well,
go
actually,
to kink booms?
it's not a problem. In
Because
fact,
it's all inside?
it almost makes a kink boom sort of
Redundant?
superfluous, because you could have the boom just coming along here and attaching there, just have it higher up, and you don't have a problem. So, maybe we'll see people going back to straight booms again. But I haven't got round to that after making the bent boom, which was another 2.4 thing.
That'll be 2.7, mate. We'll worry about 2.7. Well, there you go. That's a pretty comprehensive look at the new Mach 2, mate. And, you've got to be commended with your perseverance in the class, Mac? It's, you've been in it for a fair while. And I keep saying it about the Moth class, the innovation and what blokes bring to the class is super cool. And that, if it wasn't for these things, we wouldn't be seeing the SailGPs and the America's Cup and all that sort of things foiling. 11-foot boat, they're ripping around at 30 knots. They're the coolest boat in the water.
They are. I mean, I think the word perseverance is incorrect. It's just, I'm just having a ball. I mean, really.
You're passionate.
You get out on this thing, and particularly in light winds, it's just like you sail along and then you go to tack and you fall in the water and you go, there's no wind. How am I falling? And then a little gust comes on and you go on again, and it's just like this, so efficient. It's just beautiful. So, no, it's not perseverance. I just love doing it.
Mate, and that comes across with you, because you're still around.
Yeah.
You haven't chuffed off and taken your millions of dollars and moved to Dubai and in a luxury yacht, mate. You stayed here in the class and you're still racing.
Oh, well, yeah, I do like being in control of my own destiny, and which is why I like sailing small boats, because, here's this, 30, we're probably up a bit from that now, kilo boat that, you make a movement in your body and it's instantly translated into something. And that's I think, the magic of it.
I'm blown away by the increase we've seen from Garda, then Bermuda to here, the increase in speed in the fleet. It's
massive.
4 or 5 knots uphill difference, and top end's probably
not that much.
Not quite that much?
No, it's not quite that much. I mean, I think there's more people doing those top speeds now.
Right.
I think that, 2 years ago, yes, there was a few people getting those sorts of numbers, and now it's expanded down the fleet. But definitely the overall speed is faster. Tell you a little story that when we first had the Blade Rider at Black Rock, and we raced against the 14s, and we were really chuffed to beat the 14s, to beat them.
14 skiffs.
14-foot skiffs. And we got a good fleet, I think top 10s, a lot of them top 5 world champion sailors, so we're not talking about. And so a year in with the Blade Rider, we were, pretty happy to lap a 14 in a 4-lap race. Come the Mach 2, pretty happy when we lapped them in a 3-lap race. Well, a couple of years ago now, I was 36 seconds off lapping them in a 2-lap race, 2-1.
Wow.
So, that and
they've developed too,
they've developed,
but not at the same pace as what these things are.
It's massive. And then, we're talking something that's going, the Mach 2.0 compared to this is, this is at least 50% faster in 10 years.
What's the Mach 2.99 going to look like? It's going to be insane.
When am I going to go to 3 as people?
When are you going to go to 3? You're going to get to 9 and then go to 3?
There's a lot of decimal points you can go to.
Yeah, that's right. Keep them coming. Mate, it's been an absolute pleasure to have a chat to you. And congratulations on the boat. Well done.
Thank you.
And I hope you enjoy your Worlds. You
And
had a little bit of dramas, Jesse, but we're going to wash that off, and today's another day.
Yeah, bloody ring.
Righto.
One more thing.
Yes,
and thank you. You just, for this class and for sailing in general, you've just been...
Best class in the world, mate.
Just been a star. I just love the style.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you. So I hope you enjoyed that out there. That's the brand new Mach 2 2.12345 it is, coming to you very soon from the Mach 2 team. See you later.
Thank you. Thanks, Jody.
Thanks again. Well done.
Yeah, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to day 2 of the Gulf Fleet Racing, and we've found an interesting gentleman, Rob Greenhouse. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. You all right?
I'm going well. How's it been going?
Yeah, good. Been fantastic here in Perth. Pretty hot, but it's been great racing.
It's been hot, all right, mate. It's been definitely hot, and the racing is hot too, mate. You're into a bit of a development phase with these boats at the moment, with working with CST and Norse. You've done a fair bit with CST rig-wise?
Yeah, so this year CST have launched the new product range with the Tow Pro Masts, which is really a development from their successful DS range, which was previously the Elite 21s and 22s. Now they're using a pre-preg product, so it's basically a more reliable, repeatable product. And what we're seeing is very great tubes which are identical, and we can easily change mast stiffness and really make a mast overnight. Just before this championship, I got a new spar made pretty much a week before, and it got delivered here just a couple of days before the regatta.
So the consistency between tubes is there. You're not having to go through 4 or 5 to find the same thing you had previous. So that's got to be a big plus.
No, we're at a stage now where we know the product, and we can phone them and say we want something slightly stiffer, slightly softer, and they can do it. But that's come through obviously having some spars and finding a baseline. So now we've got that baseline, it's very easy to work either side of it.
And geez, to be able to get a section to be rolled out that quick, that's a big plus, isn't it? Like for the company to be that switched on and getting it out to the sailors, that's a big plus.
No, absolutely. Their aim is to be able to work even during a regatta with sailors. If you need a different mast, with obviously there's delivery, but they can design a mast and roll it out to you the next day.
What a service, eh?
Yeah.
And then obviously with the mast, it goes into the all-important sail. So, you're running the North Sails at the moment, and you've been heavily involved in this North Sail development program. So what have you been doing with that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously this year, 2019, we started with the 3DI North Sails, this product we've been using here, and it has been hard work. I mean, I think it's pretty clear that at the Nationals a year ago, in January 29, I was pretty much off the pace with the very first 3DI sail. But we've worked hard, and we've probably had to do 4 sails, and by around August this year, I was going quick, and then we sort of started rolling them out to people, and then what's happened then is with just small developments, the DS process, developing that has been the sort of big evolution, and that's where there's been some very big gains. And now we've got a sale which is good. You know, we've got 8 in the top 10 here, and you know, Slingsby's obviously using identical kit to me, and he's rapid.
Fast. Rapid is
Yeah.
Absolutely. And what I've noticed with these sails, they're super flat, but then you can grunt them up. So they've got good moting, you know.
Yeah,
Like
the biggest thing we've found in the Moth recently are aero gains upwind. So suddenly we're doing 20 knots upwind, and that is the number 20. Slingsby's probably 21.
which is insane when you think about it, isn't it?
When you're going upwind at 20, you've got to have good aerodynamics. And obviously the apparent wind you're achieving at 20 knots boat speed is very high, so you need a very flat sail. Problem is downwind, we're limited to 8.25 square metres, so you need horsepower. And we've got to find a way of getting the sail flat upwind, but getting plenty of juice out of it downwind.
And how have you developed that? Like, where's that? Is that the match between the mast and the sails, or is that, you know, battens and control systems? Where have you found that niche?
Yeah, I think there's lots of subtleties with it all, but absolutely mast and sail working together well, getting a nice luff curve compared to the mast bend. Obviously, the next big challenge is we've got a huge variety of crew weights in this class. So I was trying to make a sail which is going to suit as a wider range of weight as possible. And I think reality is, as we've always seen in the Moth class, heavier guys are good upwind because the boats are going super fast, you've got lots of apparent wind, so weight's good. And as we know, Moths are very, very overpowered upwind, so we've got to try to get a sail that can get flat enough for everybody. That's where the softer rigs come in for the lighter sailors. You know, trying to couple that with the sail getting nice and flat. Obviously hoping you can still get enough juice out of it downwind to keep ripping. So it's subtle. We've got a slightly smaller sail as well for some of the lighter sailors, which Bruni uses here very successfully. He's, you know, fast upwind. But you know, it's hard to make a product that's good for everybody all the time. But you know, trying our best.
You think maybe it's a stage, Rob, where we might see almost a sail develop for grouping, you know, from the 70 to 80s, the 80s to 90s and 90s pluses?
Absolutely. I mean, I think our product range for 2020 will be our main DSX, which is, you know, the big-footed deck sweeper sail, and then probably what we call the DSXR, which is a slightly smaller sail. It's difficult to make a sail too much flatter because what I don't want to see is people having to have 2 or 3 sails for the wind range. I'm happy that I can use this sail from 5 to 25 knots of wind.
Oh, regatta.
Yeah, and I'll change the masts. So I'll use the CST1 and then I put the CST 0.5 in. So I've got 2 masts, 1 sail. It keeps life simple. I don't really want to be, you know, I don't think the class wants suddenly people to absolutely have to have 2 sails, and you've got to be using 2 sails through a regatta. So we've just got to try to make products that can do the whole wind range and, you know, keep everyone happy.
Well, that's a massive win because, you know, the cost is huge in the class, as you know. So like you said, if you've got to have a quiver of sails here, and then you cut over points or you change over points in the ranges, is massive. You're sitting here trying to make that decision on the beach, and when you've got one sail, plug it in and go.
Exactly.
You know, that's unreal.
There's a strong argument for just having one bit of kit, knowing your kit, and not having any issues.
Develop your boat around that.
Exactly. So hopefully, you know, our range next year, I'm erring towards basically 2 deck sweeper sails. A big one, you know, a full-size one for majority of people, 80 kilos plus. And if you're sub 80 kilos, we'll probably do one which is just slightly under area. And for sure, the heavy people will use that sail when it's windy.
Looking into the future, mate, in your crystal ball, where's the gains going to be made out of the? Where do you foresee it in the next 12 months?
I think it's more aero gains. Everything across the boat. I mean, we've seen it with the beaker boat now, the small wings. That's going really quick upwind. And I think everyone will just start pushing the aerodynamics of the boat. You know, smaller wings, all little aero details. The lower part of the sail is going to be critical, and I'm sure we'll see the deck sweepers getting bigger and bigger, main sheet strops going further and further back in the boat, and then really trying to get some shaping into the bottom of that mainsail.
And what brings you to the moth class each year, Rob? What's your attraction to the moth? You do a lot of sailing around the world on all sorts of different boats, but you always come back to these little buggers.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best sailing in the world. It's great to be able to have the freedom to go and do your own sailing, and the moth class is, it's right at the front of, cutting edge technology, and it's fast and it's fun and it's got some great sailors.
It's a leveler too, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You get it wrong, mate. You're spat out the back pretty quick.
It can be very humbling, it's good to keep it real and come and race against the best sailors in the world, and and do what you can.
And I believe today we're going to have a bit of honk on, so it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out across the fleet. We've got that Tom Slingsby that's absolutely just drilling it at the moment. It's got ones everywhere, but breakages haven't been a factor yet in this regatta. I'm not going to curse him. I don't want to see breakages, but we know what these things are like when it's 25 knots. So a couple of races out there today could be some fun.
Yeah, I think, 4 races today. The last 2 are going to get fresh. My guess is Slingsby might have it wrapped up by the end of the day. But I think it's relatively wide open beyond that.
Oh, yeah.
Sort of 3rd, 4th, 5th places are probably still on the cards. So I think there's going to be some good racing and probably some chaos.
You're in 7th at the moment, so you got the eye on the podium there, mate.
Whether I can get that high up, I don't know, but I'm going good. I'm just, enjoying the racing, and, I can go out and get a good day for me would be 4 top 5s.
Beautiful. All right. Well, if you want to check it out, cst.com and the northsails.com, get on there and get these bits of kit because they're obviously fast and they're readily available. So perfect.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. We're always willing to help new guys in the fleet and existing guys, and want to see as many fast boats as possible.
All right, mate. Thanks for your time. Good luck today.
Cheers, Jody.
work. And we thought we'd just have a little chat, mate, about exactly that. Like, what would you be going through right now? They've just released the boys from the shore, so you've got a ritual. You know, you do things fairly well the same most time. You're saying you like to brush your teeth the same way, and all that sort of stuff. So, just explain us what you would do in the boat park just before you'd launch. Like,
so you've got in the moth class, you've got a couple of really key decisions to make. The first one you've got to make is your mast setup. We can all measure in two different masts, and then from there that's basically decides you. And then your sail. We've usually got a heavy air sail and a light air sail, so that decision has to be made roughly 45 minutes before you hit the water. We go from there. So if you think it's going to be light, moderate, whatever it's going to be, just say it's going to be lighter, so we're going to stiffer mast, more powerful sail, and then you rig the boat up, and then your last decision is your foils. In general, people run pretty small rudders, and in general, that's sort of where they leave it. And then the hard decision's the main foil. Do you run the big main foil, which is going to be better at manoeuvring, a little higher mode upwind, and or you go your small foil, which is faster downwind and a little harder to manoeuvre, but faster in general. So that's what you do before you hit the water. Once we hit the water, I've got a bit of a routine I go through. I get out, I slowly load the boat up. Each night you're sort of pulling the boat apart and trying to repair things. And so whenever I get on the water, I try to slowly load the boat to make sure that...
pull things like strings on slowly,
strings
bangs
on slowly,
and all that sort of stuff.
Start slowly hiking a little harder and harder, a little more vang, just loading the boat up. We put 1.5 to 2 tons of load through an 11-foot boat.
That's insane, isn't it?
And so you can break things very easy. So I start loading everything up, and then as I'm racing out to the track, I'll eventually get to my settings that I want to use for that day. I've got everything marked on my boat. I know exactly where my Vang, Cunningham, ride height, everything's got to be, and I'll get to my race settings and make sure everything's working, not hearing any creaks in the boat and all working. Once I hit the track, obviously another sailing race. I choose which side I like, left, right track, where's the pressure. I have a look at the line, which end's biased, do I want boat or pin, and then I start looking at, and then I'm big on transits. I do a lot of runs of transits.
What's your process there then? What do you do?
My process here has been the 7-minute go and goes, the attention signal. I usually use that to get in position. I've got 2 minutes to get right next to the boat end, and then I get the 5-minute gun. I like being right next to the boat to get the 5-minute gun, so I get the countdown clearly. I get the 5-minute gun, and then you'd see I'd stop, I'd have a look on shore, figure out what my transit is, and I'd get a transit ahead of the line, behind the line, everything around it, and then I'd run down the line. And as I'm running the line, what I call swooping. I'd bear away low. I'd go to what I thought was about 3, 4, 5 lengths off the line, and turn up hard, figuring out how quickly I can approach. If I go to one transit, it takes me 3 seconds to get to the line from that one. If I go to another one, it takes me 5 seconds to get to the line. And that's my process for running my transits. And then I loop around, and then I, at about 3 minutes to go, I stop the boat, check all my settings, check the boat's all ready to roll, and then start jockeying for position.
Before you even hit the water, Tommy, do you stretch at all? Do you get yourself, because I mean it's pretty physical, these boats.
Yeah, I guess I come from a laser background. And if any of my former physios or anything are listening, they know I'm terrible at stretching, and I'm possibly the most unflexible person in the world.
Stiff.
Oh, I've never touched my toes in my life. So, but
You're no good in jail.
No, that's good. Good thing to know. But in general, it's injury prevention. So I don't stretch too much before sailing, but I stretch after.
I don't know. It's funny. I never really thought of it before. We don't see many mothies in there. They're like surfers, Surfers get in there and do so much stretching, and their arms, their legs, their hips, all sorts of stuff. But the yachties don't. It's just something that I thought of.
No, but as soon as I'm one of the only people you see once I've packed my boat up, I go and sit with my mates, grab a beer with them, but I'm sitting there stretching while we're sitting on the grass and all that. and I get a lot of my mates give me a bit of crap for stretching, saying it's just
Just your lower back type.
my
stretches
lower
and
back
stuff,
gets
yeah.
tight, and I know it can spasm, and so it's just injury prevention for me. The stretching.
The amount of hiking you're doing, I can imagine that would be an issue in there.
It is.
So yeah, so right, so back into you've done your transit stuff. Do you do your race like obviously you look up wind and see which side of the course you feel like you're doing? Do you go like halfway up, like on a run, and just do a foil attack here and there?
In general, I'll go and do everything I think I've got coming up. I'll make sure I go up and do some tacks. I'll make sure I come down, do some jibes. I'll fully hike. I'll do 100% hike at some point.
So full load on the boat everywhere.
Yeah, full load everywhere to make sure that the boat's working well and the settings are the right settings for that day. And I'll do everything I think that could come up. And if it's a little bit lighter, a little trickier, I'll practice a couple of hard maneuvers, whether it's a jibe turnaround on the wind, whether it's a tack barrel way. I'll just do a couple of little maneuvers I think could pop up. And and just really thinking ahead, what am I going to have to do?
Have you ever had a situation where you sound like you're fairly superstitious and you love the process?
Yep.
Have you ever had a situation where you, for whatever reason, you haven't been able to go through the process, and does that get inside your mind?
It happens all the time, actually. I've got to say it's happened a lot recently with Sail GP. We get released onto the course late, and we have, with our coach Philippe Presti, he's like, okay, what do you need to do? You guys need to do tack barrelways because we've changed the playbook for that. You need to practice a couple of starts. We want to work on the pin end starts. We've got this whole process, and sometimes we get out there and all of a sudden a part breaks, and we spend the next 40 minutes getting that part fixed, and then all of a sudden we go into racing. We haven't done any practice, and you can get rattled, but it's happened so much in the past now. And for me, sailing with Kyle Langford, Kinley Fowler, Sam Newton, all these guys, it's happened so many times.
You would have just seen in the window there. We had Hiroki
almost
Go-To
hit us.
just come flying through, and he's the boat we're in, Tommy, is pretty big, and he's obviously ran out of wind, and he nearly smashed into us. So you would have seen that fly through the windscreen here, and there he is there on screen, Tommy, and he's probably just avoided a fair bit of damage. Right?
Yeah,
He's given us.
almost rode his boat off.
He's
before
giving us the
race.
thumbs up there. So, so right. So that gives you a little bit of an insight on the transit. So you don't use like Pro Starts and stuff like that. Do you?
No,
You don't use electronic gear.
No, I'm not against it at all.
Yeah.
I've got to say, whether I'm doing TP52s, RC44s, maxis and stuff, I'm a little more of a feel sailor. I can get all these numbers, and you get a lot of tacticians that know, okay, you're burning 12 seconds, you're 7.1 lengths from the line, all this sort of stuff. That doesn't compute that well for me, and I'd say I'm not a great sailor with the technology. Even with Sail GP and stuff, I always do a better job when I'm just sighting the line.
When you lose your gear,
Yeah,
mate,
if
sailing
that
blind
goes
almost.
down, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. I come from a laser. I didn't
gonna
even
say, yeah,
didn't
you-
even use a
Compass.
a magnetic compass. So it was for me. It just works better just looking at the course. Everything I need to know on the racetrack is in front of me. I've just got to see it. So
So you process and compute it.
yeah, just keep your head out of the boat because everything's right in front of you. So
All right, mate. Well, that's an awesome insight. I hope the people out there enjoyed that little chat with Tommy. You're going to have lots more with Tommy coming up soon. We're not too far away from racing. So, yeah, we'll see you soon. Thanks, Tommy.
no worries.
Welcome back to our live and rolling coverage of the 2019 Moth Worlds. We're out here on Melville Water West, and there is a fair bit of west about today, mate.
There is lots of west. We are tucked pretty much where the boats would have been coming over on their first tack in the last few days in that tacking area. So we're way over to the eastern side of the bay here, and it's a bit fluffy out here, Mark.
Very, very fluffy, and there's been obviously a big decision that's had to be made before the boats left the course.
And that's the big race, as we know. It's between Kyle Langford and Tommy Burton.
Yep.
And Mr. Slingsby, we were lucky enough to have on board here with us today. He's out here. And, Kyle's gone the small foil, and I think he's regretting every single minute of it right now.
Yeah, it's a bit hurtful, actually, to watch.
He's 95 kilo against, what's TB, you reckon? Here he's TB just coming through us now. No, it's not. It's the local lad.
There's plenty of action out here. We're actually really, really close to the start boat at the moment, and they're rolled into 5 minutes, I believe. Actually, we're under 4 to a start here, and on the course, we're looking at probably no more than 7 knots. I wouldn't have thought.
Bugger all, and there's 3 points between Langford and Burton, and Kyle's carrying a 6.4, and Tommy Burton's carrying a 6.8.
Yep.
So Kyle cannot afford to have any.
You can't have a bad one.
No, even if he gets a 5, it's So he'd be really stressing about his foil choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think he might have been stitched up a little bit by one of his mates, but we'll leave that to a later time. But Mark, it's
it's going to be great.
It's almost an anticlimax without, we know the world champion, but there's still plenty to play for.
Oh, there's heaps to play for across the fleet. Absolutely. And we will try and duck over when the Silver Fleet get underway and try and grab their top mark rounding just to see who's who in the zoo. There's obviously some big battles in there. Kinley Fowler at the front of the fleet there, won 4 races. Yeah, 4 races yesterday.
4 bloody races.
And, the girls, they're having a tight battle,
I think that's almost sewn up. Without some disaster, Francesca May would be the
I would think so.
New women's world
about
champion.
30-odd points in front there. The Scows, though.
Scows.
A lot of controversy there. One of them didn't sign off, got a scoring penalty and pushed them 4 points behind the other one.
Oh, no.
So it is all to play for there with the Scows. We had an interview in the park earlier today.
To him, and we said him he's quick upwind. The timber one's quick upwind. So when you're watching, there's 2. There's timber one and the fiberglass one. The timber one's quick upwind, but he just gets slammed downhill. And he said, "I've sorted it out, mate."
Yep.
He said, "I've taken a heap more rake out of me rig and
shifted forward.
We're going to be fast today."
Well, we'll see how we go with that, but we'll hopefully get some coverage of those guys as they come up.
They're only 3 points ahead. They're racing within the fleets. And they're that close, and it comes down to their last 2 races as well. So.
Absolutely, and we've rolled. We've got about 2 minutes to go until the start of Gold Fleet racing here on Melville Water West. And as we said, it is very light and fluffy. But I'm actually really looking forward to this because I think it's going to give a real different element to this racetrack.
A different mindset here, Mark. Yesterday we seen the bullpen, the Rolex. No, what are we calling it? Bullpen. The Rolex bullpen.
That's it, mate.
Everyone was pretty much went in, sat in. Got their position and gone. What we're seeing today is because it's so light, everyone's trying to stay up on their foil, so they're way away from the start line.
Yep.
And they're just foiling around because it's makes a big difference.
We noticed it as some of these boats came out, and they're all fine when they're on the foils. It's no dramas, but as soon as they drop off the foils, they get bogged down. And they just stick to the water, and then it takes a little bit of manipulation to get it back up on
1 minute to go, Mark.
On the sticks. Great pictures on the drone here as we sort of hover over the boat. It's a beautiful day in Perth, as it has been the whole time. Not quite as hot today, though, Jody.
No, not quite as hot, which is bloody fantastic. It's only about 30 degrees today, so we're not sweltering that we have been. And we got Mr. Slingsby upstairs watching the fleet and casting his expert eye over it, and he'll be down here pretty soon. Show us, and we're not far, mate. Here we go.
It's a really cool drone shot here of the boats coming in.
You can see them all foiling in, like I said, from the top, so they're all hitting the line at full speed.
We're getting swamped at the moment. Our broadcast position's just in that white boat to the left of screen there, and you can see Oroki Goto coming around the back. He nearly cleaned up. We can see him from a mile away.
He's will he get off through there?
We got 10 seconds to go here. 10 seconds. AMAC working down the line as well.
Kyle Langford is very, very, very late, but the news is he's just in front or just above.
There's a big bank
Tom
up on the
Burton.
start boat as we go down. That looks like a clear start.
So you'll see Tommy Burton just about to stick his nose around. and
Langford's
Kyle
on the
Langford right
foils.
behind him,
Langford
yep.
is on the foils and going. We got Tommy Johnson just to windward there of the Italian boat.
Oh, Kyle's very soft coming off that line, and Tommy done a great job in getting in and around and kept foiling. So Kyle might be in a little bit of trouble there.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting. As you can see in the breeze, it is really, really soft. They're okay when they're up on the foils. As soon as they have to do a manoeuvre of any type, it certainly becomes a bit interesting then because they just drop off the foils and bog down. So
You'll pan back around here and you'll see that's Tommy Johnson
Yep.
just going under screen. Kyle Langford is way down in the middle of our screen there because he came around the start boat, dropped off his foils and just had to pump like anything. But Tommy Burton didn't. He went around and got up on foiling, and he's just cruising uphill at this stage.
this is the great thing, and what I'm a bit excited about today is that there are genuine passing lanes on this course.
Well, I know one thing: Slingsby ain't going to win this one,
Yeah.
so we won't have to be.
Thanks for that,
lyrically
Sammy. Stay the obvious over here.
So, but there will be another winner here in the Moth Worlds. So far, it's only been Matty Chew and Tom Slingsby that's done all the number crunching.
We're on screen here at the moment. We've got Benoit Marie, who's looking in a nice position up to windward there. With it looks like that is either the Italian or I'm pretty sure it's the Italian there on the Manta, just to leeward at the moment. As we've got Kyle Stoneham very late for the start, actually, who's just going
Thanks for
across the
joining
start.
the party, Kyle. Yeah, he's still probably 100 metres away from the start line, but
But
he's just
they're
come
all up
forward.
on the foils, few tacking out of that left-hand side at the moment. So this is really a breeze. There's no persistent shift in this breeze. You would think that it's going to go left, but at the moment it's just on oscillations.
Yeah, but I think with this too, you've
Johnson
got
tacking
to
out.
obviously minimise how many manoeuvres you do because you could fall off the foils.
Exactly.
You know, it's not like these guys will be smoking every single foiling tack. So
Although that was a beautiful tack by whoever that was, just
at
up on the
top
right on screen.
Yeah, he's.
Is that
he looks
TB?
all right. Yeah, I think TB was up there somewhere. So.
Well, I
if
think it was a
that's
Mach
the
2. It
case-
was a Mach 2 with white wings, I'm pretty sure. So that narrows it down to about 30. So and we got
Let's do
Graham
it.
Sutherland here too. Hiroki Goto loving the lighter breezes. you
Yeah,
know.
which I mean, he's from Japan. It doesn't truly get that windy over there, so I'm guessing he is liking that. It looks like Jimmy McMillan going back over from the middle to going back to the right there. So
Could be Will Bolden as well,
be Will,
actually.
yeah,
I've-
actually.
Will got into me because I think we've been calling Jimmy Will.
Oh, that's
and
Jimmy McMillan.
Yeah, there we
He's
go.
got this big C-tack on the main. So.
There's a great shot, isn't it, of what we're racing in here at the moment. Just down, looking towards Point Walter Spit. That's that big sandbar right off the top left-hand side of the course as we look out to the Great Indian Ocean over there, Cottesloe Beach. We spent a couple of days down there. That was beautiful too.
It was not bad at all. I think that boat in the bottom there, going back to the right-hand side, I think that would be Kyle Langford, maybe.
Really cool here, just that overview shot, just watching how tactical this course is. They're really hugging that left-hand shoreline, aren't they?
They are, and I think you might be just getting a little. Was that Langford there on screen? That might be
No,
Langford.
I
it's
reckon
not.
that's that could be Funk. I reckon.
Oh, the funky bird.
AMAC just goes through
The
its sack.
Cosmos man. Yeah, so I think, Mark, what you might find is a little bit of acceleration over on that shore with the breeze as well. So just
Yep.
if it's really on edge sailing, the guys need to find as many puffs as they can.
How much more, racing is this than what we've seen, I
Well,
suppose?
we've already
Yep.
seen 4 or 5 tacks from most boats,
Exactly.
which yesterday was just full noise drag racing.
Just
and,
pump it down to the left and away we go. You can see on that shot now you've got Perth in the background, and this is how you can see how this course is skewed comparatively to what we've been dealing with. It's so far into the west. I think it's on 260 on the dial, and as we've got Andrew McDougall on screen now, as we start going into the middle of the fleet, there is quite a number of boats actually ahead as we pan around to the left here on the drone, and it looks like that's Brad Funk, who is to leeward of
that's
him.
definitely the funky bird.
Yes,
He's
number
USA
4, who's crossing these boats that are coming out from the right. So the boats to the left look like they've done pretty well.
Yeah, up off that shore has paid off, and you'd be pretty happy having the World Championship belt
You wouldn't have wanted to be I'll
dealing
tell
with
you
this
what.
shit. You'd be getting the stress levels would be pretty high.
Absolutely. There's so many passing lanes on this course as we're zooming in here on Brad Funk, who's looking very comfortable. As you can see, it gets soft a little bit. He's at full stretch, but, every now and then he just has to shift his body weight in and just see where he's going. So
who's this coming back here? It's Hiroki there in the red?
Yeah, possibly.
Or is it... Yeah, it looks like a red Mac 2.
But it's got a north sail on it, I reckon.
Oh, yeah, it's hard to pot, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think that's got... I'm not sure who that is that's there. We've got, by the look of it, underneath there, that looks like a beaker that we've got.
They're punching back over to the right.
They are.
And if you'll come up on screen here in a minute, you'll see Brad Funk's just going through his tack. And there it is there. So he's heading, you see the top gate, just to the top right.
So this would be Bruni, I reckon.
Bruni coming back
Bruni
over.
coming across. And
actually, that's Brad Funk tacking. No, it's not. It's Bruni.
So that's Bruni that's tacked, and I have a feeling this is the other...
Funky boy below him.
No, I think I actually
funky?
think that's possibly the other Italian boat, even. Or it's Benoit Marie, who came off the start line very nicely.
Nice job. Look at Bruni there. He's up high. But look at the guys way over on the left on that shore.
Exactly. We've got the gate starting to come into screen here. This is going to be the first convergence that we're actually seeing in this fleet. Genuine options available to them.
Bruni looks fast there. He's liking this
He
light
does.
airs.
Yeah. No, he's got the Manti going pretty well there.
It almost looks like that group from the left has overstood.
And possibly could, because that breeze down that shoreline is always going to be bending left. So as they come down that shoreline, these guys you would think would start running into a knock as these guys come down. But as we said before, it's not a persistent shift. There's a huge bunch of boats out to the left, and their angle doesn't look that good at the moment, Jody.
No, they're bow down coming straight at these people who are pretty much going straight up the gate.
How's this for a change-up?
There
Benoit
is the
Marie.
gate. He'd be loving it.
Your time in the sun. Have a look at it.
Perfect work there. Benoit Marie, France 7, first up and around the left-hand gate. He's got a few boats to negotiate there coming in through Star, but that's a bit tricky.
Brad Funk is going around in third. He's tacking now.
They look like Kyle down there.
TJ, I think.
It might be TJ,
That's with the black wings, yeah.
Black wings, that's right. I'll sort it out eventually, mate. There's Kyle there just coming in the bottom of the screen. So we don't know where TB is yet. We haven't picked up TB. We've got a little bit of a drone fade there, so we've come over to the other drone shot now. And there's TB there.
No, we've got that. I reckon he's
TJ.
just gone ahead of this pack. I reckon he just went around ahead of this pack as they all start to go through. There's, I think that was Jimmy McMillan. Graham Sutherland.
Graham Sutherland's down on the foil, so that shows you how light it is up there. On the
very fickle. Very fickle. There's a nice tack.
That's
TB just there.
Right, so where's Kyle?
TB and Langford both well back in the pack at the moment.
There's Kyle there. Still coming uphill off the foils.
I'll tell you what, this is this opening the door for some of the other competitors that are potentially a little bit down in the fleet?
Yeah, I mean, they'd have to have absolute barriers. They'd have to be like deep, and I think these guys are too good a sailors to do that. But TB so far, he's on the way downhill, and Kyle was just stuck.
Yep.
Off the foils in the middle of the course.
So it's really going to be come down to a bit of match racing on foils here to just see who can get through.
Soft. Now, one thing you've got to be careful of, if the race control officer has got the rights, if more than half the fleet isn't foiling, has got the rights to pull it up.
Yeah.
That is a possibility.
It's a genuine possibility. That right-hand corner, so the left hand of your screen here, but right hand when you're going upwind, it is really, really soft in there. Like all the pressures along that left-hand shoreline at the moment.
Pretty much everyone's foiling there.
Yep.
So it's one thing we've seen certainly in the Bermudan Worlds, and also we've seen in Lake Garda we got a race off and then they had to pull it because of, it's just not fair.
Exactly.
They try and do a fair racetrack for everybody. So
yeah, I think that's a good way to see. As you can see, we're looking back upwind here, and there is actually plenty of pressure. And as I said, there's a little funnel down there.
Oh no!
This is very, very sorry side at the moment.
Not good if you're a Kyle Langford fan, because he is just a sabo in the water here at the moment. He has got no power. We know he's on small foils.
Yeah.
One of his mates give him the heads up to go onto the small foils, and Kyle would not be liking getting that call at all.
But it's very hard to watch actually.
That is, because he's hardly moving, mate.
So
he is just parked. But remember, TB was flying, so there's 3 points between these pair. so far I reckon TB's probably got 20 points on him at least just in this race alone.
Absolutely. So, and you know, we may not get a second one in the way this breeze is going. If it does go real fluffy, you know, it's
Although it looks like we're slowly getting little white cappers down here, Mark. So yeah, I think we will. I think they might have to just revisit the top mark, drag it down a bit, and maybe do 3 laps.
Yep. And as we're on the chase with the lead group here at the moment. So this is
4, 5,
Rob
6,
Greenhouse.
The big unit.
Yep, Rob Greenhouse on the chase with Brad Funk just in front of him as they're coming down towards the Applecross Shore, which is where the gate is and where our main broadcast position is today.
So I wonder how Benoit Marie went around that left-hand gate looking upwind and headed into the shore. So wonder how he's ended up out of all that.
Really different sort of technique here, isn't it? Like it was real power sailing.
Bigger angles downhill.
The last couple of days, and these guys are just sitting in, getting on the soak, just making sure that they link up those puffs. And you know, looks like Funky was looking at maybe a jibe there, but he pulled out of it. Or maybe he's going now.
Is that Benoit there?
I reckon that's Brad Funk, and then you've got Francesco Bruni just to leeward, who I reckon is leading the race. So we haven't seen Benoit Marie for a while, but how's this for a change up for the books? We talked about this yesterday about some of the international competitors starting to come into it.
They were saying on the park walk around today, Mark, that big breeze. The Aussies love big breeze, big powerful Aussies, but they said wait till they get to Weymouth, it's going to be light, and we all like the light. So that's just showing exactly that there.
Exactly. And it looks like we've got Benoit Marie, who has extended.
He's killed him. Go, you good little thing.
Extending down that run, and he's just turned the corner, and he's heading back up breeze now.
I'm not sure whether he's ever won a Moth World Championship race, but
this man certainly has.
Yeah, this guy's won one. But Benoit, he comes 7th in Bermuda, but it was light and very fluffy there.
Yep.
Split gates, so
this is the
Rooney
options.
wants to go to the left. Benoit wants to go to the right. Will he cover?
Where would you go?
I'd go to the right, then cover straight on top of him.
Yep. So get your gauge on that, and then just tack. So we got 1, 2, 3. We got France, Italy, USA, and then Oz. That will be Scotty Babbage, I believe, that's gone through.
4, 6, 4, 3, and then who we got here coming in nice and low and then hitting the mark pretty high.
That's Greenhouse. That goes through. And then it looks like we've got the other Italian boat that's coming down, as well as Tommy Trotman.
That's
beautiful work.
Graham Sullivan going over there on the left-hand side.
Tom Trotman, former WASP national champion, has just jumped into the class in the last sort of 6 months, and he's showing plenty of wheels at the moment. Loves this stuff. I actually sailed with him in the Sharpie, mate. He's very good with this light flicky breeze.
Everything he knows.
Yeah, apparently so. So actually, one of our mates, Jack Lidgett, actually always got best on boat. So just carrying us clowns around. Anyway, we'll move on from that.
TJ went through before, so that wasn't the yellow moth of Kyle Langford because he is way back at this stage.
Still haven't seen TB. Looks like that might be him in the middle of the course there. That's just jibing down.
Full sponsorship mainsail of TB.
Yep.
Can't take any more sponsors. He's got no room to put stickers.
So here he comes now. He's just jibed. Looks like he's going to load up for this right-hand bottom gate as we look upwind. And he goes round there now. So he's got a nice little lead, and he's got one hand on second place at the moment, which is great to see. That's Sammy Meach, I reckon, going through. Had a bit of a disaster yesterday.
He had a bad day. Dropped the rig. Had a bit of a collision. It just wasn't a nice day out. And he was on the charge, too, on that
big
top
time.
10. He was loving it, but... Anyway, that's moth racing for you. We still haven't seen the big seagull come through yet, mate.
No, we haven't. Matty Jerwood rolling down there. Thanks for the stickers again, Matt. And Harry Mile, I believe this is coming in on a sail that he's designed himself.
A little bit wobbly there.
Yep.
But it's a bit of a soak down here, isn't it? Another Italian.
Exactly. The Graham Sutherland.
Italians out here today.
So there's Jim McMillan, I believe, and then Graham Sutherland as we move on to the leaders who are looking like they're punching out to the right-hand side of the course. I think we've got visuals on Tom Burton at the moment as he's really swinging that thing down, heading out to the right-hand side over towards the Perth Flying Squadron and Netherlands foreshore over there.
But still, I'm looking out the window here, Mark, while you're doing all the hard yards. There's still no sign of Langford. I'm too tired. Yes, there is still no sign of that Langford fella. So he is well deep.
So we got the visuals right now on Zomberton, and as we're looking at it on this screen, he's just putting the clamps on that second place, and it was very unfortunate there. The breeze has just probably backed off a little bit, and it's going to be very hard to make up any sort of ground that you've lost. As we look upwind, he's just linking some of these together. Not a bad tack, jumped off the foils, a little touchdown tack, but that's good enough in this
What
stuff,
do you reckon
mate.
he'd weigh? 75 kilo, 80
Yeah,
kilo?
I reckon so, yeah.
Kyle's 95, we've been informed, so that's 25 kilo pushing around extra, 15 kilo pushing an extra 15 in light airs. It's got to
I mean, what would you be saying the breeze is at the moment, Jody? It still wouldn't be more than 7, I wouldn't have
7,
thought.
8. We're just getting little white cap at the top of the waves are rolling
Yep.
down here, but up the top, it's a beautiful day out.
You just get that occasional pulse that comes through, and
Like if you had your choice again, you'd be wanting to go big foils every day.
I think so.
But especially when you're a big unit like Kyle is, and he went the smalls. He took the gamble, and that's part of the moth being in the moth experience. Is when you got the gear, you've got to choose what you're taking.
Geez, it could be confusing, isn't it? Just
Like
you've
the
got
crossover,
Yeah.
depends on where your crossover is, and if you're right on the edge, do you bank the fact that it's going to build, or do you just say, nah, I'm gonna go my gut and.
And I think everyone, obviously we're in WA here, and everyone knows that it's renowned for the sea breezes and the strong sea breezes, and I think they thought that this westerly might get backed up by the sea breeze and probably swing. It's probably stable at times. Probably when we came out here, to be honest, we were probably getting 10s, 11s.
I reckon we'd be almost that down here.
Yep.
There's definitely heaps more breeze down the bottom, which you'd expect because we're away from the headland. But
Yep.
it's the back markers coming in down the bottom. I'm looking out the window, not what you're seeing on the screen.
Yep.
Yeah, they're foiling in here quite nice, but I still haven't seen Kyle come through. So far, young TB would be laughing his head off. He might even pass him upwind here. Wouldn't that be a bit of a...
Oh, no, we
Go
don't.
past and
We
say,
don't
hurry
want-
up, mate. What are you doing? He might be still stuck at the top. He was dead set parked at the top.
It's not a good scene.
It's,
Just not a good scene. So, and that's it's purely equipment, and that's the thing. It's just,
and choice.
yeah, exactly.
You have a choice, and you have to make the choice. And for those of you who don't know, the moth class will not allow you to change on the water. You
Yeah.
can't just have a coach boat out here and have
Multiple
all your,
bits of
all
kit
your
and-
gear. So you got to make that on the beach. And if you want to change, you got to go back to the beach.
Exactly. That's a really cool shot that we got on the screen right now. As you can see the spread in the fleet. A lot of the left-hand boats that have gone upwind have done really, really well. I still wouldn't be surprised if this breeze actually does bend a little bit to the left. It's still oscillating, but you would expect with the way the temperature is and everything like that, you would expect something to happen later this afternoon from a southwesterly perspective. But right now we've got pretty heavy westerly influence with the gradient breeze, and we talked about it before with Rottnest Island. There was a northwesterly blowing. It was sort of like this was just a little thermal setup that was on the river.
And that cool shot we had before where we actually had boats on all the different sides of the course in the middle. So that's the one-way racetrack.
Yeah.
So like you said, you'd be actually nervous if you were
Oh,
coming in
trying
today
to protect. How are you supposed to protect?
when you've got such a wide racetrack area. But I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm sure the goat would have got it sorted if he was out there, but he doesn't need to be.
No, he's out here enjoying the hospitality at the
Yeah,
moment.
we'll
so-
get him on screen pretty soon. He's upstairs analysing what everyone's doing right and wrong.
Which would be great. Some great insight for you guys watching at the moment. On the feed, and stay tuned because getting it really from the horse's mouth.
They don't get Lewis Hamilton in to do commentary when he's already wrapped it up. So that's the beauty of sailing. These guys will love to come in and give you an insight on how these mines work because they're pretty special at times. But I haven't been looking the whole time out, but I still haven't spotted Kyle come down. So I don't know where he is.
We got visuals on Francesco Bruni now coming down the course. He's obviously gone round Benoit Marie. I haven't seen where he's ended up. There is a boat out to the other side of the course. So this is going to be very, very interesting as they come down.
Yeah, mate, and this is their last lap, obviously, and we have got some Silver Fleet racing down the back, and looks like we might have found Kyle Langford, and we might just get him up on screen here to show you a pretty sorry sight. That's him there, still heading downwind, So I think he's going to be one of the last boats to come into this bottom gate because he got trapped up the top and could not get out. And these boats are so slow and you can't foil. And
Just got stuck in a vacuum there, didn't he?
yeah, every other competitor is pretty much been down and through the gate, but not Kyle. So this could be, well, it's not gonna, could be, it's going to be his drop.
Has to be.
Yeah, and he, like I said, he's carrying a 6'4", and TB's carrying a 6'8". So
Oh, mate, and it would play with your head. Like, could you
got the
just
wrong foil on. You know, do I go in and change? Have I got enough time? What I would do if I was Kyle,
Yep.
I'd pull out now,
Yep.
get a 1-lap score,
Yep.
go straight in,
Yep.
change foils.
Yep. Absolutely.
And just hope to Christ that you can get out of here before the next race.
Yeah.
I mean, the beauty is that we've still got a race in play, but the leaders are on the way down, so they might even lap him. You know, and that just demoralise you. But
It just, you know, and you'd always, even if the breeze does pulse a little bit again, it'd just be messing with your head, just going, is there enough? Is there enough? And then you're just thinking, geez, I'm not quite there, or I'm just lacking a bit of pace, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's pretty much got the podium set. They can't lose the podium, but
No.
there's bragging rights between him and TB.
Oh, absolutely.
And, you know, so yeah, that's possibly what I would do, and that's Kyle just coming in. No, it's not. That's not Kyle. It's the leaders here coming downwind. So
So
yeah,
this looks like Scotty Babbage we got on screen at the moment, just punching downhill. He's got that north sail with that
you
sort
see
of clear
him
patch.
sitting in, mate. You know,
Yeah.
they're not full hike.
He's not heavy either.
No, he's not a heavy dude, and he's got, you know, his bums in on the wings, and normally they got their legs right out and hiking these things downhill. So yeah, they're right, got lots of depth in their mains and trying to find as much power as they possibly can. But yeah, I still haven't got an ID on Kyle looking out the window of him coming downwind. So he's a long ways away. He's coming back from that right-hand side. And he's got to be careful he doesn't get lapped because that would be a disaster for him. It would absolutely drill him.
And we're still watching Babbage as he comes down towards the bottom mark. Francesco Bruni, he's got a couple of boats out to the left that he's going to be battling with. We do think that Francesco Bruni is still in front of this fleet, unless Benoit Manri, who we haven't got gauge on at the moment. You know, he...
Yeah, so here he comes. We've just ID'd Kyle. Finally found him. He's been up there having some sort of a picnic or signing autographs or something. But he's literally still 200 metres away from the first time at the bottom mark. He is going, and the leaders, honestly,
See if you can pick up Benoit out there, Jody.
mate,
If you...
he's about probably 50, 100 metres behind Kyle.
So is Benoit still in front?
Yeah, I think Benoit's still in front, mate. So Kyle's
Okay.
just coming in around the gate now,
Okay.
and he is. Looks like he's gone for. He didn't go through the gate.
He's just pulled out.
He's just pulled out. So would you go? Like, I'm surprised he didn't try and go hammer time in and just change foils. But whether he's thinking I don't have enough time.
Yeah. It's hard. It's,
You know.
it's hard. We are a fair way from the club here at the moment. So, but I think he really should.
Consider.
Mate, it's tough. It's really tough.
So here's your
on him.
leader coming over.
Who we got,
now?
Ben?
And it's not. It's not Benoit. It's Oz. It's a Beaker.
Babbage?
Yeah, it's
Yep.
Babbage.
Yep. So that was what I thought was happening down that run. We had Bruni and looked like Funk, and then Babbage has got through them all.
Benoit's fourth, mate. He's lost
Yeah.
out huge. So it's
So
Babbage.
Scotty Babbage goes
Well
through,
done.
takes the win, and we've got the international contingent,
Good
and it
race
doesn't
here
look
between
like
these pair.
Funk can get down, although he soaks
Big
down
soak in, but
and just gets there.
I don't know. I think Bruni went around pretty quick around the outside, and that'd be tight between those pair.
Then Benoit, who comes through, he'd take a fourth.
Yeah, but he'd be filthy on that.
Yeah, when it's-
he got caught out.
When it's in your grasp, and you end up unfortunately going from first to fourth. But Scotty Babbage must have done a Houdini job there at the top and got through.
Well, we've seen him soaking. He was sitting in the wing, so maybe he just sort of sat in and went down through the
Yep.
middle, and the guys went to the edges.
Robbie Greenhouse came through there in fifth, I believe. You got Stevie Thomas doing another great job here.
So if you were TB, once you come through, would you go straight over and just get into Kyle? Would you just try and get in his mindset? Would you just be
I don't
ripping
think
him?
you'd have to, mate.
Hey?
I don't think you'd have to. I think it's it'd just be so hard right now for him to deal with it because it's a pure equipment thing.
Well, you know what? There's a man that knows him really well. We might call him in here actually and just see what he reckons. It's he just sat up the top there. Tommy, mate, you just watched that race.
Yeah.
It was pretty painful for Kyle.
Yeah, it was. I mean,
caught.
everyone's on small foils from what I can tell, but yeah, Kyle's setup isn't powerful enough. He's obviously a big guy, and I guess that Doyle sail isn't powerful enough.
Yeah, he got caught very much at that top mark. He literally fell in a hole, and the whole fleet just swallowed him. So if you were TB now, would you come in and just get into him?
Well, the
Would you
fact
just
is,
get into his head?
Tom Burton, I'm looking out the window. I think he's still coming down here to the finish.
So it's probably he's dropped
So
too.
he's sailed a drop. So it's actually advantage Langford right now. But
Right.
because I wasn't listening to you guys, but I'm not sure if you caught the before the start, they were match racing out the front here, and Kyle actually, however it happened, they were very late to the start. So
They were very late. Yeah, we called that.
Kyle did a good job of keeping him out there because he just needs TB to sail bad races. It doesn't really matter what he finishes. That's TB finishing now.
So that definitely is a drop for TB. So like you said, both boats have had a wipeout. So they're carrying now a 6 and a big drop and an 8 and a big drop. So the point spread's still there between them.
So that Kyle Langford carries a 6 for that race, and TB carries an 8. So that goes to 3 to 5 points now. So Kyle's got a 5-point leading heading into this last race, and from what I can understand, I'm going off the top of my head. I think it.
You reckon he might not be able to catch him?
Kyle,
I think another shocker.
Kyle drops.
He's
So
dropped.
now he gets
His
a
drop
4th.
was a 6 and a 4.
So Kyle gets a 4th and TB gets a 6.
Yep.
So that goes to a 5-point lead. So now mathematically, off the top of my head, if Kyle wins, if TB wins this race, he would beat Kyle, and Kyle sails a drop. He can beat him by on countback.
By a countback. Wow.
So TB has to win. Second place would not get it for him.
And you think with that race that Kyle just had mentally,
Yeah.
you just got to wash it off, eh?
He does.
You just gotta
I'm
somehow-
surprised to see him sitting out there, not going in and changing foils.
I thought the same, mate. I said in comms, if I was him, he was sort of half flying, I would have just ripped in.
I would be going in right now.
Yeah.
For sure. He's obviously his setup is for heavy air, and I mean the small foil is one part of it, and then you got a mast and sail combination, and whatever. I mean he's a 95 kilo guy. He's a big guy, but for whatever reason his setup's more for strong air, and so he should be heading in right now, but he might think that the breeze is going to start to build and he'll be okay.
Because you can see here on the racetrack, Tommy, what we're looking at. There's still a lot of boats up the top, so still a long way before this race finishes.
Yes.
So he's been already finished for, 4 or 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He could have been all but at the turner point now to get him to throw the foil on and they don't just turn him over straight away. We've got probably a 5 to 10 minute period between races.
Yeah,
So.
he's still, right now, in my opinion, looking how far the boats are up the track, I think he's still got a window to go in, but he might think it's too risky. He might think, look, I've just got to stop. He might have done the maths here. He's just got to stop TB from winning this race. And he might say, look, I can do that on a small foil and I'm going to stay and make sure I'm here for it, because there is always a risk when he goes into shore that the foil's doesn't go in the boat. There's a problem.
That's it. You could
So
hit
he
something
might
on the way in, or
he
fall
might
in a
not
big
want to
hole.
worry about that issue.
So, mate, we might just get you in to have a look at what these boys will be doing on the pre-start. We'll get Mark back in, and we'll get your head into what will be the second race, and we'll get you to call this next race, and the focus will definitely be on between those pairs. So get ready for that one.
And we've gone from
here
talking
we
some
go.
very serious stuff with Tom
This is
Slingsby
serious.
to where the most serious part of the action is. This is your mate from the rigging area.
This
He's
is
changed
the-
his rake, and I believe he is in front.
Where's the other dude? So this is the he's gone
He's
for
tacked.
a covering tack. So this is the Scour Moth Challenge. So remember, if you've got a Scour Moth out there, you can come to the Worlds. You still become a world champion in the
Exactly.
Scour Moths. They've got their own division. So you're not racing against foiling boats and just getting flogged each week.
Exactly, and you can see the difference here between the foilers and the scour. But he's really putting his back into it there. Who we got on the scour there?
9013 is, hang on, he is on 643 points. I can give you that much,
There we go.
considering Slingsby won.
Todd Oldfield
Toddy Oldfield.
on the vintage Speedster.
It's a vintage speedster, all right. So we look at that for a shot.
as we've just shot over to the Silverfleet course just in between. And we'll try and give these guys. I know the leaders have started to come up and
we've lost.
That's all right. We're moving off from the Scow race here. We're just going to move on
Get back to the Scows. We want Scow racing.
We're gonna look at the lead group, we believe, here of Silverfleet as they're going through there now.
Right, so we've got to relearn boats.
That's an Italian boat going through the picture there.
4-5. What was it? 4-9.
4-5, 4-3.
4-5, 4-3 is Michel Tremacci. Michel Tremacci down the mine.
Great shot there of Mikel. That's beautiful.
Another
there.
one of our Italian competitors.
Absolutely.
4 or 5 of them come down here to Oz for the World. So that's an awesome.
It's a great effort, isn't it? As he
They've
goes
got
through
better
attack.
breeze down there.
They do actually.
They got heaps better breeze on that still.
I reckon the breeze is starting to pick up a bit here too. So we just got it. This is going to be all to play for here, because if the breeze does pick up, as we're focusing in on here, it looks like this is the other Scow.
The white one.
The white one. So he's obviously in front coming into this top mark.
Oh, he's flogged him. His rig change for the timber one hasn't worked.
Hasn't worked. Nah, and he's looking
cursing.
pretty comfortable there.
30009. So look at this. Just this foiling moth to a non-foiling. But doesn't matter, mate. He's out there. He's not at work.
This is a good battle here,
He's
isn't it?
having fun. This is a good battle here on the Silverfleet.
So we've got 4-5, 4-3, which is Mikel.
He's going to go right gate.
Yeah.
Mate, he will
And
make
who
the left.
have we got
Our
here?
Spain competitor, 4-3-2-3.
Yes, this is definitely the top end. This is that's Tony, Tony Massonet, I believe, who goes through the shot there. So those guys again, interesting. We've got international Europeans up the front here of this course. The one day that it actually is a bit lighter.
A bit light, yeah.
You know, it's just it's a general theme
Is
with
it
what's.
non-international Europeans?
Oh, I got nothing. You got me.
Right, so we've got the international Europeans here.
As
except
opposed
for
to the domestic
the
Europeans.
domestic Europeans.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
As he just goes through a little bit of
we'll just
the
run with that.
wash.
Oh,
there.
he's got a little bit
Whoa,
of bend there.
there.
He's
Oh,
gone
no!
over the waves. So he's gone over the waves.
Tony Massonet, what are you doing?
He's leading the race and he's just wasn't concentrating, come into some waves and his rudder vented and it was game over for him. So his competitor, you can see him in the background there over just on the top of the screen. He
He's
went around the
jibed out.
right-hand gate. He needs to pump the crap out of this thing and get it back up on the foils. And I think he's done it. He probably only weighs 30 kilos.
He's going well there, though. He's
He got to the other side of them waves and I reckon he thought he was through.
certainly looks a bit holier on that course, doesn't it? Though, like it's
Yeah, but it looks just better top mark. There's
Yeah.
better breeze at their top mark compared to what
Agree
we've
with
got
that.
up here.
agree with that.
So the split is there's the guy that he was leading is right in the middle of the screen at the top. He went around that right hand gate. This bloke over here, our
Tony
international European competitor, Tony Massonet's come this side, going through to jibe now, and when he jibes, he's not going to like what he sees, as he's lost his lead. There's the leader. The leader's going to jibe right in his face here.
Yeah, that little vent just cost
He
him.
hasn't jibed.
Oh,
I would have jibed and smacked one right in his face there.
no,
and,
he's let him go. Gutsy, very gutsy.
his confidence with his.
He's keeping an eye on him.
Yep, so our other international European coming this side now, Mark, and he's quite happy to cruise this side.
Yeah, he's just going, I don't know what you were talking about. I want to come over here and get my own breeze. That looks like nice breeze just
It's
in
heaps
behind
better
there.
breeze down on the Silverfleet.
Yeah.
That's us way up the very top for Gold Fleet, behind that sandbar in the middle of the screen. The Silvers are down to the down the bottom end, or the northern end of the Swan River here up against the city. Here he goes, jibing. Can he pull all the jibe
Bad little
off?
jibe. Now, this is the moment of truth because he's let him go. He's just gone, you know what,
Where
you
is
go
he?
to one side, I'll go to the other side. Bit of Russian roulette and just see how we end up at the finish.
I think that's him in the middle of the screen, the little black dot in the middle of the screen, all the way
Oh,
over.
yeah, I got him.
So
Yep.
he looks all right. I'm going the blue fella at this stage.
Yeah, he's getting pushed down there as
He's
well
got a
now.
nice big header there, and
Yep.
you can sending it down into this bottom screen, and I think he smoked him.
Yeah, I reckon
think at
he's
this
cleaned him
stage.
up. And that's good. Just back yourself in, Jody.
Well, he did. He had the opportunity to slam one in his face and, send him to the wrong side maybe, but he said, no, I'm going to go this side. I
There's
like
a
this
fair bit of spread there in this silver fleet, isn't
Very
there?
much so.
Yeah.
Like these guys are doing what Slingsby done to the
Exactly.
gold fleeters. There's still guys going upwind
Yep.
deep in the course, as you can see.
As
So-
we've got Tony. This is not Tony. This is Mikhail, isn't it? Mikhail Tremaci.
Mikhail.
Yeah.
They probably just spelled that wrong. It looks like Michelle, but
Mikhail Tremaci coming down to the bottom gate here
heaps
on the
of
silver
pressure.
fleet. There's heaps of pressure there through that middle part. So Melville East has just got heaps of breeze down there. This is the finish as he's coming through.
And the other bloke just hasn't turned up yet.
Nah, he's done a horizon job on him.
Yeah, I think so. He's
Still a fair way from the
I
finish.
noticed
there.
him in the top of the screen, a little black dot in the top of the screen. He's jibed,
Geez,
and there's the gate on the just underneath the city there. So
He could not have gone further
further apart.
apart.
And I'm not going to back this bloke on the left out now.
Nah, he's
He's looking right. All of a sudden, he's in a big dark patch of breeze.
Geez, that was gutsy just letting him go.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
I'm thinking he's got him.
Do you reckon they're just on minimal manoeuvres here?
Yeah, I'm thinking he smoked him, the guy from
Yeah.
the left. Yeah, because certainly looks close. You can see
Yeah,
the
he's
marks.
still got to nail a jibe though, and
Yeah,
I'm not
but
sure whether this guy's on lay.
He could fall over and swim over there and he'd win it. Look at him. Yeah, there he is. Through his jibe. It's a nice work there. He went to the left. The bloke didn't cover. He went to the right, and he's going to regret that decision. I would have slammed him.
Absolutely, and as
you
he came
can't
in,
You know, you can't beat you if
that's
you're
an
in front
amazing amount of distance that he's pulled out of
of
him.
him. Yeah, he's done a good
Tony
job.
Massonet, well done, mate.
So
On
over the finish.
On the Mac 2, just going across there. Mac
Bit
2
wobbly.
North Kit, but he's got through. I
It's
believe
in
this the Mikhail Tremaci's on a Manta, I believe.
I believe he's an international European as well. Been informed quite reliably about that. So here's the guy that
So
led him
well
off
done
the
to
hook.
the silver. It's well done to the silver guys. They've done an awesome job there to do that, and very interesting to have a look at those conditions, Jody.
Yeah, they've got heaps, but I'm just going to have a little sneaky peek out the window up here, Mark, and it's starting to get a little bit of a shimmer on the water here as well. So I think the
We
breeze
just got
out
a
here-
bit of inside information too about this gold fleet. That Josh McKnight and Rob Greenhouse are the only two boats that are on big foils out here.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so some reliable information.
Greenhouse was a little bit deep still.
Fifth,
It was,
fifth.
yeah, he
Yeah.
didn't flog. What I'm trying to,
Yeah.
The point is, it's not. They didn't come out and decimate the small
So
fleet.
it's obviously marginal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's probably what I'm trying to gibber
Yeah.
and get out.
So we're in a genuine crossover phase with what's going on with that. But having said that, you know, being heavier and being on the big kit, just being up on the sticks has surely got to be.
Yeah, as
the
long
way
as
that
your
you
top end, like, as long as your top end, you're carrying a lot more drag.
Yeah.
So you can get up and foil quicker, and yeah. So anyway, we're going to have we might go and have a bit of a break, Mark. We
Yeah,
might
and-
restock for the last race of the 2019.
Can't
Moth
wait,
World
and
Titles.
we will be probably watching a bit of a match racing attempt here, I reckon, between Burton and Langford, because it is going to be all to play for in this last race.
After 14 races, it comes down to one.
How good's this?
Yeah, baby. That's the go. Just give us a whisper. Welcome back to the central commentary position. My special guest, Tommy.
Yep.
It's up to the last race, mate. The last race is upon us, and we've done some number crunching, and we think, now don't hold us to this, people out there, but we think this is how it's going to play out. Let us know. What do you reckon it's going to
By my calculations, they both sailed drop races. Obviously, Kyle did, coming DFL. And then...
Suki la last.
Yeah, I didn't see what TB was, but he was outside the top 6. So TB's drops coming into today were a 6 and an 8. Kyle's were a 4 and a 6. So Kyle essentially gets a 4th place there, and TB gets a 6th place because they both sailed drops. That means that heading into the last race, Kyle increases his points by 2 places. He should have a 5-point lead going to this last race, meaning that if TB has to win and Kyle finish outside the top 5. Kyle needs to sail a drop, and which is a 6th place, and TB needs to win to gain the 5 points back, and then it'll come down to count back, and I think TB gets it for more first places.
So at this stage, would it be advantage Kyle?
Advantage Kyle. It's pretty tough conditions out there. I wouldn't want to be thinking I have to win this race to win.
We're under a minute here, buddy, too. It's we just see outside our window here, out there. That's the start line and the breeze, Tommy. Looks like we might have picked up a couple of knots.
Yeah, I'm just looking for Kyle and TB. I'm sure there's Kyle. I can't see TB.
Okay, so Kyle Langford's starting up on foils and he's running pretty low. And I'd say he's probably trying to find TB himself. So maybe TB's done a nice job
at TB now.
at hiding himself.
TB's a bit late. I think they've got about 30 seconds.
So Kyle very, very low on the start line. And TB pretty high. So
he's held up above the boat end here, TB.
Yeah, he's got an angry little pack in front of him, hasn't he?
He's going underneath them.
But Kyle Langford in the middle, heading towards the pin with heaps of pace. And TB's going to get swallowed here, I think.
Yep.
You see him there just coming into the screen. Lots of blokes.
6.
He needs a general here, TB, I think.
Someone
That's
went
him
over.
just going over there. So there's TB in the Fleming mobile.
Yeah, copy.
Is he?
General
Oh,
recall.
he got it.
Is that TB at the top end of the line?
Fleming? Yeah, he should have an F on his sail. So maybe that's not him right on the very top.
I
But
think
we know he would.
yeah.
No, that's another guy with the Oz World or something it is. But anyway, it's a general recall, so that's probably got to help him because it looked like he did get swallowed there.
Yeah, I mean TB. I didn't see the
definitely
pre-start
wasn't
action.
TB.
Hopefully this next one we can have a look in with a couple of minutes to go. We might be able to see them playing. But yeah, Kyle was coming into the line on the right timing, and TB was racing to get there. So if I was Kyle Langford, I'd be going after TB in this race. He's just got to make him have a bad start, do whatever he can. It's very hard to match race a moth, but what you can do is put them off their game. If Kyle's there spinning around with him and making it hard for him, TB is not looking at the wind. He's not doing his pre-start checks. He's not doing runs at the line. If Kyle's playing games with him, it's very hard for TB to concentrate on his own race and try to get out and win.
And this is a massively different racetrack than what we've had all week, mate. We're pretty much starting where you guys were coming over and tacking.
Yeah, this track is tough, for sure.
And we'd seen that first race, there's heaps more taxes, heaps more lanes, there's guys going left, right, and in the middle, all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, it's not like you've just got to get to the left and go hard.
Nope.
No, you tack and get to the top. So there's
No.
options there to bail out. And
Yep.
TB's a racer. We know he's a racer, so that could come into play for TB.
And TB's, he's
Yeah.
a very successful laser sailor, and so he can pick little 1-2 degree wind shifts up. He can pick half a knot of pressure here. That's what he does best. But I sail with Kyle Langford. I have sailed with him for a lot over the last 7 years, and he's extremely good at that as well. And it's weird. The guys who aren't often the skippers don't really get quite the credit that they deserve. But someone like Kyle Langford, he's not a skipper, but he's jumped in the Moth fleet, and he's nearly winning. He's right up there, top 3 at the Worlds.
Is he a calm sailor, or is he on the edge sailor?
Kyle's very calm, but I think he can get flustered. I think like we all can,
Yep.
myself included. Anyone can get flustered. I've sailed against TB. We did Olympic trials against each other for a long time, training partners. He can get flustered too. So, look, no one's perfect, and it'll be interesting to see how this one goes.
I mean, the beauty is not the world title on the line, but there's second and third and plenty of bragging rights. So that sometimes can be even tougher, when you've got to cop it from the boys.
Going on with those boys.
Yeah, so we're under 5 minutes, Tommy, and what I think the boys would be doing now would be literally just trying to stay on the foils, eh? Like, you don't want to be sort of parked up and then caught without having to pump and the fleet getting over you. So would you be just zooming around out here on the foils, staying up on the foils and coming in hot?
If I wasn't Tom Burton or Kyle Langford, I'd be just, at 3 minutes to go, I'd be looking, 5 minutes to go, anytime now, I'd be looking for any gust to get on the foils. Then I just want to stay on the foils. The reason for that is you never know what's going to happen in 3 or 4 minutes' time. It might go lighter and all of a sudden you can't stay on the foil. You can't pop on the foils. You need about 1 knot more wind, or maybe even 2 knots more wind to pop on the foils than to stay on the foils.
Right.
Once you're up on the foils, you can generate your own speed and your own apparent wind and you can sail around. But it's so the safest move is to get on the foils early and
Just
to do
zoom
foiling jibes in this flat water, perfect 8-10 knots. It's not too hard. So getting up on the foils early is a safe move and just burning time out the side of the start line.
And then, just getting your head in the boat a bit too, just getting comfortable again and so going through your processes and all that sort of stuff while trying to remember where that other bloke is that you're match racing. And, so you still have a lot on. Are you glad you're not out there, mate? You're glad your title's not on the line with this racetrack?
I'm glad the title's not on the line with this, but for sure, it's beautiful out there.
Yeah,
It's perfect foiling conditions, 10 knots. These boats they'll be going 16, 17 knots upwind in this amount of breeze. Like, the boats will move well. They'll be doing 20s downwind. It's perfect moss sailing.
For an 11-foot boat, it's pretty cool, isn't it? That they can do that sort of boat speeds. It's
unbelievable.
We always bash on about it. We see what you race in the F50s and you're doing 2 or 3 times the wind speeds. And these little moths, mate, with these little sails, 8 metre square sails on them, they're powerhouses. There's no doubt about that.
Yep.
But we got that dreaded black flag up, Tommy. So the black flag start. He's had enough. David Campbell-James, the PRO, who's done an absolutely fantastic job here this week, as well as all the volunteers, the chase boats. Everything, mate. You've got to thank them, mate. Without them, we haven't got a regatta, and you guys don't get out here to enjoy what you guys do the best.
It would be interesting. I'm not sure how Joe and guys going, but if we could possibly, Kyle and Tom Burton might be in a match race right now. I can't see them out the side of the boat, but
you might be taking him over the other side. Do you reckon?
Yeah, if I was Kyle right now, I'd be doing everything I can to get right next to TB and playing games with him. If I was Tom Burton, I'd be trying to avoid Kyle. You just want to stay away from him, concentrate on yourself, and not have to think that there's someone coming to try to stop you at the start.
Well, there's only about half the fleet on the start line side of where we are.
I've got 1 minute 10 to go.
There's a lot of boats coming in now. There's TJ sticking in. So we still haven't seen where Kyle
I can see
and Tommy
Kyle
Burton.
out the other window, but I can't see Tom Burton.
Right, yeah, got his eyes on him. Tommy Burton, we've got no eyes on TB at this stage. Very close, having a minute to go. Everyone's coming in with lots of speed, and looks like they're
I've got Kyle just going underneath our boat here.
Our boat.
He's going above us and fell off the foils.
There's TB over here behind us. So TB's low and late compared to where Kyle is. Kyle's up on the foils now.
Yep. Kyle in the box position.
Yeah, he's probably 40 metres ahead. TB's on the charge. Looks pretty calm, but I reckon they're going to be right on the money for this boat end at the start.
TB's racing to get to the line here.
We've got a lot of boats above him too, so he needs to try and find a lane. Hopefully someone will be nice. Little Kyle just shutting the door on him.
Kyle's trying to slow up the boat end pack to make it hard on TB. You can see Kyle looking behind him, making it tough.
He's going to be swallowed. He might have a hole. If you can poke it up there. A lot of yelling and screaming going on at this boat end. A couple of boats didn't make the boat. One stacked it in the middle, so you've got to be careful of those. Tommy, lots going on down the pin. There's boats everywhere. There's boats hitting rescue boats and start boats and all sorts. Look at that down the pin, mate. That is not pretty. Wow. Oh, yeah, that's not pretty. We've got 1, 2, 3 moths involved there. There's a moth completely upside down, and that is not what you want to see. Will Bowden's one of those guys.
That's Graham Prosser. You got Graham Sutherland and a French boat as well.
400, that's AMAX. So
AMAC
AMAX
out the back.
involved. So we could hear the yelling and screaming from where we were. And they're literally coming in as a big, large spectator pack just off to their left-hand side. So not good. But anyway, we'll get back onto this racing here in a minute. And there it is. Here's the race, Tommy. So we've got the red boat. It looks like maybe it is
It's Argentina up the top. And then very hard to see.
Yeah, it is hard, mate.
That's Kyle Langford in the middle of the course there. He got away really well. Tom Burton, I can't... It could be him above him actually doing really well. It's very hard to see.
But it looks like they're all heading out to the left-hand side, mate. We'll try and get this drone in a little bit tighter and pick up our leaders and or our two combatants at least with Tommy Burton and Kyle Langford. But we had to keep one drone in on that little bit of an issue there. So I hope all the sailors are all right. That's probably the main thing out of all that.
That looks like Scott Babbage at the top of screen. Scott won the last race, and he actually, I think, mathematically can catch Francesco Bruni, even though Bruni was a second or a third. I think if Scott wins this race and Bruni sails a bad race, he can overtake him in the overalls. So Scott Babbage gunning for 4th place.
Aussies in the top 4, that'd be a nice sight for Australian fans.
That could be Tom Burton in the middle reaching down on Kyle Langford.
Copy there. Kyle's got the white wing at the bottom there. So
it is.
If we can get that drone over to those two guys a little bit further over. Remember,
we're changing footage.
Nice
that's
work.
Tom Burton and Kyle. So TB got out of that.
Yeah.
He was in so much traffic. I heard him yelling coming into the boat end, trying to push people up, and seemed to barge his way in there and do a good job. So now he's reaching down, trying to put the
Kyle's got to
clamps
worry Bruni there
on
too,
Bruni.
mate.
Yeah,
Kyle's actually going to end up under Bruni because
he's going to tack out there.
Yeah, TB done a nice job on the tack too. Get through. No, he's going to take a couple of sterns. Kyle's got a big duck here. That's the Funkmeister, is it?
Might be the Manta, I think.
Oh, it's the Manta, yeah. So Kyle, he sucked into Bruni and then he had to duck the Manta, and meanwhile TB's just heading across there in nice cleanish air. But what's Kyle going to do is he's just going to go bow down to catch him and stick with him?
Yeah, I think if Kyle just stays pretty close to him. Look, TB's got to win this race. The fact that he's ahead of Kyle right now, he's got to put his head down and go. He's got to not keep watching him. He's got to just get out and look at the boats who are ahead of him and try to get them behind him. So, look, Kyle's fast. Even in these lighter conditions, if Kyle's on the foils, I think he's a real force. But Kyle's obviously got a few issues with power, so he's got to make sure he stays on the foils at the top of the course when it gets a bit lighter.
That's where he got caught out in that first race. He literally came in on the big lay line and parked it up right in the middle of the gate and could not get out, where TB's 15 kilo lighter than Kyle.
You'd be pretty close to that, about 15 kilos. Kyle's around 93 to 95 and TB's around 80 kilos. Yeah, look, I mean, Kyle's showing good boat speed here. TB's, he's not in bad air. Oh, a couple of starboard tackers coming across though.
Yeah, you see Kyle was bowed down there for a second, then he thought, I will need to be above these boats because I don't need to get caught out.
Funky's got Kyle there.
He's let him off the hook.
Yeah,
he's let him off the hook, has he?
Yeah.
The boys are playing nice out here at the moment because they know there's a podium up for grabs, but and that's a good thing, mate. Let these two guys sort it out, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
That's
right now, this is playing into Kyle's hands. The fact that he's got TB right there, if TB goes into attack, Kyle can do a lee bow tack and make his life hard, go into a high mode. The fact that he's hurting him one way means that these guys are going to be first and second, or last and second last, which is all good for Kyle because TB needs Kyle. Even if he wins the race, he needs him outside the top group. So right now, this positioning, Kyle's not going to want to attack. He's going to keep going and force TB the wrong way.
And that's them there in the middle of the screen heading back over. But in a funny mindset, you've been racing fleet racing all week. Then you come into this last race and you just got to switch into match racing.
Yep.
Pretty much, essentially, you're just thinking the whole, what you've trained for, what you're here for, the whole thing is on its head. And let's go match racing. So
Kyle Langford has wheels up here. You see he was behind TB. He's lower, faster. TB tacks out. Kyle goes with him.
You've got a powerboat coming right through the middle of the fleet here.
Luckily he's hit
and
the
a
brakes.
lot of boats.
Some good tacks, and then Kyle's going to cross the Manta. Kyle's in really good position here. He can just put... He's got two options. He could pin his ears back, go for the race win, and take it out of TB's hands that way, or he could try to slow TB up. What he's doing right now is perfect. He can keep sailing the boat fast, and he's got two options available. He can come top 5, or he's got TB right with him. He can, if things
See what
don't
he's
go
doing.
well, he can sail TB back. So definitely advantage Kyle Langford.
We'll be heading up. The gate will pretty much be popping up. There's a few guys well over the left there, but they're not the ones that we're concentrating. The ones that we are concentrating on are these pair here. You got Tommy Burton on the right with an F on his mane. You got Kyle Langford with the golden moth. Well, we've got a bit of stick about his golden moth, mate,
Yep.
but the Doyle moth.
Rule is, if you're a world champion, you're allowed to get the gold moth on your sail, and Kyle's
Went
yellow is very borderline gold, and
He went the early crow, didn't he?
yeah, we've been giving him a bit of stick, saying, mate, you can't do that. You're not a world champion, but he insists it's Doyle yellow.
Yeah, well, that's what he's been. He's getting a bit edgy about that too. We mentioned it a few times, and he said it's Doyle yellow. It's Doyle
Here we
yellow.
go.
Josh
Top
McKnight
mark,
just there.
tacking on the top mark.
Good job by Kyle on the tack.
Yep.
Same as TB.
I
So
don't know if they're laying there though. They could have pushed that a little further, but the left-hand mark looks favoured. So I think that is that the Manta, or it might be Rob.
Rob Greenhouse maybe.
That is the Manta. Yep, that's Bruni in first. Then you've got the Manta in second. Two Mantas, first and second.
Italian,
Scott Babbage
Italian.
third.
Kyle
That's
made it.
New Zealand, maybe Sam Meach potentially
He's
four.
done well,
and
hasn't he?
Kyle lays the mark fifth the other side, and TB's going to follow him.
What would you do there? Would you bail? Just create a split or just?
Yeah, TB's got to do something. He can't follow Kyle here. He can't lose third place, and his only shot is to get second, is to create a split. Funky going round. Tom Johnson.
So the boys now are heading down to the left-hand side. Most of that fleet decide to go around the right, and that's where them the mantras and that come in from that right looking downhill, so the left looking up. So the pressure might be a little bit more there. But yeah, I was interested that Kyle went on the sneak, and Tommy Burton had an opportunity to bail out there and put something on him. But at this stage, it's just all Kyle Langford. Look at him just cruising down here. He's extended a fair bit on TB there.
He has. I can't.
There's
There's
TB
TB
to the
above
right.
him. Yet nice mode by Kyle. He's been sailing a little deeper, same speed. So definitely advantage Kyle. He's in really good shape at the moment.
So we're going to try and stick with this this battle pack too, because this is where it's all about. It's not the guys who are actually winning the race, because this is the podium. We've got the number one in here in commentary, so I hope you're enjoying the insight that Tommy Slingsby's given us. And he's going to talk about TB. He's got stuck out there a little bit on that wash too. So in this light pressure, these waves and the big power boats coming through, you just got to be careful you don't get caught up on them, eh?
It's foiling boats.
Don't like
are really,
waves.
we're made for flat water. So when you get waves, it makes it very tricky. But you've got some guys who are very good at going through waves, and some guys who don't like it at all, and it's all part of it. You can see those waves in the middle of the course. If you hit them at the wrong angle, you need to change your settings. You need to lower your ride height, increase your gearing. There's a lot of things you need to do to get through a set of waves.
And the turbulence from the prop wash, all that sort of stuff. There's plenty that actually affects your boats going downhill. But we're here with the current leader, who is Bruni, doing a nice job.
Yeah, he's doing really well. I said earlier, I said my tip for today was Bruni. I thought he likes running the big foils, and he sails those really well uprange. When the wind gets a little more, he's very quick still on the big foils. So he's doing a great job at the moment. He's got a big lead. Haven't seen where the second Manta, who is second place, is, but looks like Bruni's out in front.
He's the young kid that swam over the finish line a couple of days ago. He lost his main sheet and his boat went 400 metres through, and the poor little fella got a DNF. So he was spewing.
guy.
He tried to claim his boat was in the correct sailing position, but the RCOs were having none of that.
So here I think that's Bruni leading, and I think that's Scott Babbage up above him, and then you see the Manta, the white Manta, in third place. So not much has changed. Scott Babbage might have picked up one position. The battle's on here. Scott really needs Bruni something to go wrong for him to move into fourth place, but Bruni's sailing really well. He obviously loves these conditions. He came and yelled at me after that race, said, "This is real sailing conditions, why aren't you out here?" And I said, "Look, I don't want to be racing you guys for a world title in this tricky stuff, so I'm happy to be in here."
Have it all sewn up with a day to go, mate. Good spot to be. And Bruni at yesterday, the bottom mark, he came around and Looked like he was turning his rudder at full stilt and just completely vented out. He done a complete 270 within a boat length of the bottom mark. So
Well, Kyle's done really well here.
Look at him,
picked
he's
up
on the
3
hump, isn't he?
boats. He's down into second place. I can't see where TB is at the moment. So, look, Kyle's now just got to stay in this realm. If he's top 5, it's over.
I think TB not putting the wind up him at that top mark's pretty much said to Kyle, righto, you can just go for it.
Yeah.
You know, Kyle didn't have to make too many decisions because TB's right behind him.
Yep.
But now Kyle is going to go for the win, and here they are at bottom gate for the first time in this race, and it's Francesco Bruni first. Kyle Langford
Ooh,
pretty
bad
low
rounding.
on the
Bad
rounding,
rounding.
but
Langers, what are you doing, mate?
he's just making a decent work of it now. He's just
Yeah.
added another 100 metres to his
Yeah.
work,
Oh,
and here's the mantra.
yeah. And there was Babbage around the other gate.
So we still no
these guys have a
TB.
nice gap. TB's dropped back a lot.
Yeah, then these first 4 boats are gone. There's TB poping in the... No, it's not.
No,
It's
that's
not
Sam
TB
Meach
either.
in
So,
the beaker. I think this is TB now.
wow, so he's way back.
About 7th place or so, and then you got Funky splitting. Yeah, he's in the pack. Tommy Johnson there.
So he's got a lot of work to do now, TB. He's got a very fast Francesco Bruni who wants this win. Kyle Langford, who's just, you can see there the breeze is just up. This is, you can be pretty much full juice on these boats now because we're probably in around the 10 to 11 knot range. The flags are flapping pretty hard behind us.
We got Kyle Langford. He was heading out the left. He was looking nice, but he saw Tom Burton round the other mark, and he's decided to follow. So he's not taking any chances at all. He knows he's in the box position, but he's going to keep tightening the screws. Now TB will look over his shoulder and realise Kyle's following him, and he's got to create a split. He's got to overtake 5 boats. It's all sort of mounting up hard against Tom Burton right now. So Kyle's definitely doing a great job.
The pressure is building for Tommy Burton, and it's hard to be able to keep your head in the boat and out the boat at the same time, Tommy, because you've got to keep these things fast. You've got to look around to see where everything is. Doesn't take much to get a 200-metre spread on your next competitor.
Yeah.
And to eyeball where they are and see what's in front of you. And there's a lot to process in a very short time on these moths.
Yeah, it is. And for example, I got asked how I was getting off the start line so quickly in training and in the races, and a lot of it was I would go across the start line with my right settings. I knew I had exactly the right ride height, exactly the right amount of Vang, Cunningham, and I didn't have to put my head back in the boat once the start gun went. And I would look around next to me, behind me, and the guys are in there fiddling with controls. So you can definitely have your head in the boat too much in this type of boat, and focus on your controls. Am I quite right? The right ride height, right wand setting. Is my sail flat enough? You've really got to get your rough settings and get your head out of the boat. Find the wind shifts, look for more pressure, and sail the boat accurately.
And Kyle's doing a good job. That says this bloke here. Bruni, we're on.
I think that's still Kyle.
Still Kyle on this.
I think so.
Yeah, we're going to try to focus on these 2 guys, but these.
It's Kyle still.
He looks nice there. He looks powered up at least. He's not on He's not sitting in on the wing bars. We just had a little movement there on the, maybe just a readjustment, but it looks nice out there, doesn't it?
Oh, it's beautiful conditions for a moth.
Eh?
I've said it before, but
Perth.
10 to 12 knots is just ideal. It's flat water, beautiful sailing.
Perth's turning on. Now, you reckon how would Tommy Burton be feeling right now? What would be going through his mind? He'd be just thinking, right, that's it, game over. It's going to get back and get slammed by this big bird now and back in the boat park.
Yeah, I know. He's going to be,
That's-
Kyle definitely knows how to...
It's good on the banter.
Oh, he hammers you if he beats you in anything. It can be pool, it can be whatever, table tennis or anything, and he just hammers you and you never forget about it.
So
He's often the top pick when you go around the boat park and people ask who do you least want to lose to, and Kyle Langford comes up a lot.
yeah, really. Well, there you go. And we're chatting on the way out here, mate, about the competitive spirit about all you guys, and it's not something that's to be a competitor. You can be a competitor in a lot of ways, and you're telling me that your mindset is you just don't like to get beaten by certain people, and you train hard for that thing, and to say, right, my competitor is X, Y, Z, and you put all your focus into that training, and and that's what makes a difference between a good competitor or a top line athlete like yourself, and maybe the mid packer. So, any advice out there for any young kids, that in that sort of world? Train hard, focus hard.
Yeah, look, for me, it doesn't really matter what your motivation is, as long as you're motivated. I know for me personally, and I know this is the same for Ben Ainsley, for Robert Scheidt, we get motivated by a certain person in the fleet, someone we really hate to lose to. And I've always had that, and I had that at Sail GP this year, for example. And there's certain things that I really want to beat a certain individual, and it doesn't matter what your motivation is. If it's you want to be the best in the world, if you want to be the fastest in windy conditions, if you want to be whatever it is, if you just want to beat a certain person, like it was for me, whatever motivates you to go training and to put in the extra work and to do more work than anyone else, I think that's the way you get ahead. You've really got to fixate on something that really gets you motivated.
You were telling me one of your campaigns, you were the one that was getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning and pouring down rain to go for a bike ride because you knew your competitors weren't.
Yeah,
And that's the edge that you go looking for, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I used to get told I was quite sick because I had a sick mind, and that there's nothing I wanted to do more than anything than beat this certain person. I won't bring his name up.
And they're not necessarily enemies, mate.
No,
and I know who you're talking about in Sail GP. You're in his wedding party. And
Yeah,
you're really good mates, but it just drives you.
It does.
It's just that we need to you need to focus on something, and if that's what it takes to pick a certain person in the fleet and get you driven to be better.
Sorry, big stuff there by Bruni in the lead. Kyle's in second place here, and Bruni with a nice lead. It's looking like a bit of a procession for these boys.
Yeah,
Bruni's going to walk away with it at the moment.
Do you reckon Kyle go to that right gate? Looks pretty light over that right, doesn't he?
He may try to tack. If I was him, I'd be going left turn because he shouldn't want to risk
falling off the foils.
He's going to tack. He's going to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, good tack, and he sailed less distance by doing that. He decided to take more risk, but...
Jeez, look at the gap back.
It's huge.
He's had a great work there, Kyle Langford. So now the hammer's on to beat Bruni.
Yeah.
He's given Tommy Burton a bit of a buff.
Tom Burton there? I think that's Tommy Burton coming up in third place, so he's picked up positions, but...
Langford's on the smoke on the way downhill.
Tack.
Yeah, I think it is Tommy, actually.
Yeah, great upwind by Tommy, but
he's in some nice waves.
they're heading, some
That
bad
is
waves
Burton.
there.
He's got the F Fleming yachts on the thing, so
He's got Tommy's. They're on the last run. He's got to hope Kyle Langford capsizes or
there's Kyle there, and you
something
see
goes
the
on.
background.
Well, he needs both of them to capsize, Bruni and Kyle. So
The chance of that would be pretty low, you'd think.
10 knots, flat water.
It is sailing.
But
It can happen.
we also did see Kyle not foil and get pretty much lapped by the fleet in the last race. So, look, anything can happen. If the wind dies off a bit, Kyle stuffs a jibe, you never know.
Someone tacks in front of one of these blokes and doesn't actually seem to. There's still plenty of options that could unfold, but TB's going way over to the right there, Tom. He's just come around that left-hand top gate, and he is just going full extremity. So do you go to your edges here? Do you give yourself not much options? And
That's what TB's got to do. It looks pretty steady on the racetrack. I can't see a lot of holes in it. So, look, if I was the fact that Kyle was going the other way, TB's going this way, split, get some separation, try to hope that something funky happens with the wind, and but from what I can see, it's very hard to see where Kyle is there. But you've got a nice separation from TB, but I can't see it being enough.
He looks good there, TB, straight down the course. So if for whatever reason Kyle and Bruni were caught over on that left-hand side at all, TB be eating a little bit of time on him here. But it's from that drone shot we can't spot them. I think
that could be Kyle on the right of screen.
Just heading back underneath the city now.
You got Bruni in the distance. You got Kyle coming back across, and TB there in third. They've held their lead, or maybe even opened up a little. There, and you see Kyle driving back. He's just going the same direction as TB. Very smart, and really nice sailing.
Between your competitor and the finish, and they can't beat you normally, can they?
That's it.
So Kyle Langford, is this where he's about to be into the podium on second spot? It's all this last run now. And bar some absolute disaster or a drone flying through the middle of his main, he looks pretty nice there, doesn't he? He's fallen really high. You can see his white, the whites of his foils there. That looks so cool.
No, he's in good shape. You see, he's not hiking as well. It's a little bit lighter, but also he's just taking it easy. He doesn't want any mishaps. If I was him, I wouldn't be flying too high. Keep the ride height down a bit.
You hope no big jelly.
Yeah,
Lots of jelly blubbers out here, eh?
There are a few, but it's beautiful though. There's no weed. Often in river sailing or lake sailing, it's quite a lot of weed, and that causes us quite a few issues. But right now, as you can see, it's just picture perfect sailing.
So we'll hopefully just stay here with Kyle Langford, because that's Tommy Burton in the background with pretty much zero opportunity or lanes to pass him here, mate. So maybe 2 more jibes to go. I don't think he's on a lay there. Here he goes on his second to last, we think.
Yep,
He's got a jibe in around.
Tommy Burton jibing up above him. So Bruni's it looks like he's gonna come down and sail to a nice win, and Langer's doing a great job in second.
Yeah, we got eyes out of the boat here. It just shows us that Bruni is pretty much on the lay line. He's done his final jibe, and he'll be coming in towards the finish with about 150 metres to go. So he'd be stoked to get a win in this fleet, mate, in the world titles.
I think it's his first,
first ever win in the Worlds.
No, second place in last year's world titles, but probably could be his first world's win race. But
over the line he goes, Francesco Bruni.
Yeah, great job.
In for a win.
Secures 4th place for him. He was 2nd at last year's Worlds, 4th at this year's Worlds. So he's obviously one of the top guys in the world.
Doesn't have to spend too much money on changing his stickers there.
Coming in, final jibe here.
Well done, Kyle Langford. Taking it home for what will be a 2nd place on the podium, right behind Tom Slingsby in number 1. But Kyle Langford to be chuffed with that. And there's.
He's going to check. This is what he's doing. He's going to check the board to see if anyone was over the line.
Oh, yeah.
It's always. Ooh.
Oh, no, he's having a little celebratory dance.
Maybe. He's
going to wait for TB to come in and probably say.
He's looking over at the board, seeing if it says all clear. It's often a common thing that you finish a race, but you're not sure if you're over.
With the black flag start, yes.
Yep.
Look at him, he's chuffed. All he's doing now is thinking about what sort of bragging rights he can, what sort of stuff he can say to TB. He's just coming over the line.
Standing up.
Standing up.
Oh, haven't
Surfing.
seen this before.
Bit of a pose there from Tommy. He's going to go down and congratulate Kylie, which is nice to see. They're still mates. No, they're not. They're actually nowhere near each other. But he gives him a little thumbs up there. Well done, Kyle. So there's your podium, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Slingsby in the number 1. We got Kyle Langford in the number 2 and Tommy Burton in the number 3.
Tom Johnson just finished there, so
good job by
he's
Tom.
done a good job there. Big comeback.
Made the Australian contingent, as you'd expect here. The Worlds are in Australia, but very strong. You know, we need these all to step up and go over to Weymouth, mate. That's the next thing.
Yeah, next world title in Weymouth. I'm hoping to be there, and hopefully we'll have plenty of Aussies there too.
We'll take on the Europeans. But that's it for racing, which is pretty cool. We'd like to thank you, Tommy, for joining in, mate. The insight there was amazing. So I hope the people at home got something out of that. So thanks again.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So we'll just get the main man back on the
Thanks,
on the mic.
Tom. Just taking me job, mate. Just not like you need any more jobs, but yeah, no, that was.
We're getting buzzed by all the boats finishing here now.
As we're trying to land a drone.
Nice. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nearly chopped his head off. So as you can see, we are dead set. You can't get any more out in the racetrack and any more live than what we've got.
It's pretty awesome, mate. That was a good finish, eh? With all of that, it was good to see the breeze pep up a bit and Kyle sort of come into his own, get up on the sticks.
Yeah, it was good to actually be sorted out in sailboat racing, not equipment, which is perfect. Yep. And
as we got a swimmer,
got a couple of swimmers.
Harry
here.
Mile just going across the finish line and showing the foils off. So yeah, mate, it's been fun.
It has been a ball. I've loved the setup. So all I can say is any clubs out there, any classes, any people that want to get some awesome footage, hook you guys up, the Down Under Sail boys.
Yep.
It's an unbelievable setup. It turns up in some bags. All you need is a bit of power and a boat to run it off.
Yep.
And these unreal images.
I mean, the whole aim of it is trying to provide something that's affordable for these classes and clubs and associations to get involved with and showcase the sport. I mean, for a long time, this sport's been hidden, I suppose, from you
need massive budgets.
Yeah, exactly. Or you need a massive budget, and you need choppers, and you need everything like that. So, yeah, we're working on it. We're trying to provide big time solutions for, you know, small time, you know, associations
Budgets,
and budgets and things like that. So yeah, it's been a pleasure, mate.
It's been
to
fun.
have you,
I've enjoyed it.
on
I'm
board.
glad you dragged me over the other side of the country. It's been great over here in Perth, and I'm actually going to come back because I like it. I like it a lot. You know, it's one of those places I've never been to. So on behalf of me, thank you to you and the team, all the boys out there.
Yeah,
couple
all
of
the drone guys. Yeah, we got Harry, Drew, young Tommy Hodge, Jordo doing flicking the switches. Thanks to Slingers, obviously, for stepping in, and you know, all the competitors that have given up their time as well to talk to us in the rigging area. And you know, it's all good-natured stuff. And you know, I think it's been a fantastic week. And thanks very much, everyone, for joining in. And we'll see you hopefully next year and next time on Down Under Sail.
Yo! And it is that man again, Tom Slingsby, absolutely dominating this fleet. Francesco Bruni had a great start at the top end of the line. Two boats getting their bows down, we're racing, so nice start by the two boats way up the very top end of the course. And we are off and racing. Here we go. It's Kyle Langford taking another win. Well done, Kyle. Straight past. Finds himself in third spot. Oh, we've got a nosedive, a New Zealand competitor. Permission to buzz the tower, and there he is. Well done, son.